It has been whispered through the ages that the universe you seek is not outside of you, but within you, that your very consciousness holds a blueprint, an ancient and sacred map of creation itself, a living architecture known as the Tree of Life. This is not a myth, nor a forgotten story. It is the very structure of your soul, pulsating with energy, waiting to be remembered. You feel it, don't you? In the quiet moments, between the demands of the day and the restlessness of the night, there is a pull, a sense of a deeper reality, a forgotten language your spirit longs to speak. You have felt lost in a world of noise, disconnected from your own power, carrying a weight that you know, deep down, is not yours to bear. You have searched for answers in books, in philosophies, in the voices of others, hoping for a key that will unlock the door to peace, to purpose, to a home you feel you have never quite reached. This journey we are about to take together is that key. But it is not a journey of learning more, it is a journey of unlearning. It is not about adding new beliefs, but about dissolving the old walls that have hidden you from yourself. We will not be studying a distant diagram. We will be walking a living path. We will begin at the roots, in the solid ground of your physical existence, and we will ascend, branch by branch, through the hidden worlds of your subconscious, your mind, your heart, and your spirit. Each step is a homecoming, each revelation a remembering of a truth you have always known. This tree is not made of wood and leaves. It is made of light and shadow, of energy and consciousness, of your deepest sorrows and your most radiant joys. It is the path of healing because it is the path of wholeness. It reveals that your wounds and your wisdom are not separate things. So, take a breath, a slow, deep breath. Feel the world outside begin to fade and the world inside begin to brighten. Give yourself this time, this sacred space. There is nothing to achieve, nothing to force. There is only the willingness to be present, to listen to the silence beneath the noise, and to take the first step onto the mystical path that has always and will always belong to you. The journey to the heart of reality begins now, and the gate is your own quieted mind. Let us enter. We begin, not in the heavens, not in a distant galaxy or a forgotten dimension, but here, exactly where you are. We begin in the one place you have always inhabited, yet perhaps never truly known. We begin in Malkuth, the kingdom. And this kingdom is not a land of myth. It is the very ground of your being, the soil and stone and river of your own body. For too long you have been taught that the body is a limitation, a temporary vessel, a machine that gets sick, grows old, and betrays you. You have been told that spirit is something else, something pure and separate, a prisoner trapped within the cage of bone, a light struggling against the dimness of flesh. This is the first and most profound illusion we must gently, lovingly let go of. Your body is not a cage, it is a throne. It is not a vessel. It is the entire, sacred, sovereign kingdom where your spirit has chosen to reside, to learn, to feel, and to become manifest. This is the great secret of alchemy, not to escape the material, but to realize that it is already gold. Listen. Be still for a moment. Feel the weight of your form, the gentle pressure on the surface where you sit or lie. This sensation is not mundane. It is the first note in a symphony. It is the gravitational pull of your own personal world, the anchor that holds your consciousness in this specific, unique coordinate of time and space. You are here. You are not just a thought floating in the ether. You are a physical reality, a presence. Let that sink in. The hum of the world around you, the temperature of the air on your skin, the subtle, ceaseless rhythm of your own breath. These are not distractions from your spiritual life. They are the very substance of it. You have sought connection with the universe, with a higher power, without realizing that you are, at this very moment, a fully functioning, miraculous piece of that universe. The cosmos is not just out there, it is in here. The same carbon that forges distant stars is the carbon that structures your bones. The same electrical impulses that light up a nebula are the impulses that fire across your synapses, allowing you to have this very thought. You are not separate from the whole. You are a localized expression of its majesty. You are the universe experiencing itself in the form of you. And the place of this experience, the holy temple for this divine play, is your body. Let us explore this kingdom, not with the cold eye of an analyst, but with the gentle curiosity of a returning monarch who has been away for a very long time. Think of your skin. It is the boundary of your kingdom, the coastline where your personal ocean meets the world. It is a sensitive, intelligent organ that communicates constantly. It feels the warmth of the sun, a lover's touch, the sting of a cold wind. It is your first line of defense and your primary point of contact. For years, perhaps, you have seen it only in the mirror, judging its appearance, its flaws, its age. But can you feel it from the inside? Now, allow your awareness to spread like warm honey, to fill every inch of your skin, from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. Feel it breathing. Feel the subtle energy that tingles just at its surface. This is your living border. Honor it. It is what defines your sacred space. It is what allows you to know the profound difference between me and not me, a separation necessary for the eventual joy of union. Now, journey deeper, beneath the surface. Become aware of the architecture of your kingdom, the silent, steadfast loyalty of your bones. This intricate lattice, this framework of calcium and minerals, is what gives you structure. It allows you to stand, to walk, to reach. It is your personal Stonehenge, a silent testament to strength and endurance, holding its shape through all the storms of your life. Feel their solidity. Feel the deep, quiet strength that resides in your skeleton. This is your foundation. It does not waver. In a world of constant change and emotional flux, your bones are a reminder of what is solid, what is reliable, what endures. They are the silent partners in every action you have ever taken. When you feel weak or lost in the chaos of emotion, bring your awareness back to your bones. Rest in their unwavering strength. They are the pillars of your temple. And flowing through this temple, through this architecture, are the rivers, your blood, your lymph, the sacred fluids that carry life to every corner of your realm. Picture the ceaseless, faithful pulse of your heart, the great sun at the center of your inner solar system, pumping this river of life without a single conscious command from you. It has been beating for you since before you were born. It has never taken a vacation, never asked for a day off. It is the drumbeat of your existence. Follow these rivers of blood as they travel, carrying oxygen and nutrients, carrying the very energy of life to the tips of your fingers, the lobes of your ears, the farthest reaches of your kingdom. When your energy feels stuck, when your life feels stagnant, it is often because these inner rivers are dammed by unprocessed emotion, by fear held tight in the muscles. To feel the flow within you is to encourage the flow of life through you. Your circulation is not just a biological process. It is the current of your vitality. But this kingdom has a history, and it is a loyal keeper of records. Every joy you have ever felt is stored in the memory of your cells. Every fear, every trauma, every wound is also held here. This is why we so often try to escape the body. We mistake it for the source of the pain. We see the body's tension, its illness, its discomfort, and we blame it, we resent it. But it is not the source of the pain, it is the sacred library that has held the record of the pain for you. Your tight shoulders are not your enemy. They are the loyal soldiers who have been holding the shield up for years. Your aching back is not a flaw. It is the scribe that has recorded every time you carried a burden that was not yours. Your nervous stomach is not a malfunction. It is the sensitive courtier telling you that something in your environment is not safe. The body never lies. It is the most honest and faithful friend you will ever have. And the beginning of healing is to stop fighting it and to start listening to it with compassion. to turn to these wounded parts of your kingdom and say, not with judgment, but with profound gratitude, "Thank you. I see you. Thank you for holding this for me for so long. I am here with you now. You do not have to carry it alone anymore." This is the shift in consciousness that Malkuth asks of us, to move from being a tyrant or an absentee landlord of our body to becoming its loving, present, and wise sovereign. A good monarch does not punish their land. They listen to it. They learn its seasons, its needs. They nourish its soil. They protect it from invasion. How do you govern your kingdom? What do you feed it? Is the food you eat a sacred offering to the temple or a thoughtless distraction? Is the movement you engage in a celebration of your body's ability or a punishment for its perceived imperfections? Is the rest you give yourself a true restoration or just a collapse from exhaustion? Every choice is an act of governance. Every breath can be an act of love for your kingdom. To inhabit your body fully is to claim your throne. It is to say to the universe, "I am present. I am here. I am embodied. My spirit is not hovering above my life. It is living right here, in this beautiful, complex, and holy ground." This is the foundation. It is the starting point of the entire path up the tree of life. You cannot reach for the crown if your feet are not planted firmly in your own kingdom. You cannot ascend to the heavens if you have not first made peace with the earth of your own being. So spend time here. In the coming days, practice this embodiment. When you are walking, feel the contact of your feet on the ground. When you are eating, taste the food. When you are breathing, feel the air as a gift of life. Let go of the war against your body. Let go of the idea that enlightenment is somewhere else. It is right here, in the feeling of the blood in your veins, in the strength of your bones, in the incredible sensitivity of your skin. It is in your ability to feel, to touch, to taste, to experience the magnificent, messy, beautiful reality of being alive in a physical form. This is your kingdom. It has been waiting for its ruler to return. And now, as we settle into this newfound presence, as we begin to feel the solidity and life within this physical realm we call our own, a new question naturally arises. If this body is the kingdom, a manifest and tangible reality, what is it built upon? What is the invisible, energetic blueprint, the unseen foundation upon which this physical structure is raised? To understand the kingdom, we must now journey deeper into the realm of the unseen, to the foundation of the subconscious, the world of dreams and symbols that underpins all of material existence. Having claimed our throne in the world of form, we now turn our attention to the mysterious powers that give rise to that form in the first place. You have returned to your kingdom. You have walked its inner landscapes, acknowledged its architecture of bone, its rivers of blood, its living, breathing coastline of skin. You have started to listen to its silent, loyal wisdom. But a kingdom is more than just a territory to be observed. It is a home that must be lived in. A monarch does not float above their realm in detached contemplation. They walk its soil, they feel its weather, they are part of its life. The second great act of healing, the true consolidation of your power within Malkuth, is the act of grounding. It is the conscious and deliberate choice to root your spirit deeply into the beautiful, solid, and sacred earth of your flesh. In the spiritual world, there is an obsession with ascension, with rising, with flying towards the light. But this is a dangerous half-truth. For a tree that focuses only on growing its branches towards the sky, while neglecting the roots that must plunge into the dark earth, will be the first to fall in a storm. Its reach will exceed its grasp, and its ambition will lead only to its collapse. True strength, true and lasting enlightenment, is a marriage of heaven and earth, and that marriage must take place within you. The spirit that seeks to escape the body is a ghost. It is a formless mist, unable to act, unable to love, unable to create in the world of substance. The body that is devoid of spirit is a machine, a golem, moving through the motions without life, without meaning. The sacred work is not to choose one over the other, but to become the bridge between them. It is to draw the light of the highest heavens down into the deepest soil of your being. This is incarnation. This is the ultimate purpose. Not to escape the human experience, but to become divinely human. To do this, we must learn to grow roots. We must anchor ourselves so profoundly in the here and now, in the very substance of our physical form, that no storm of life can unseat us. This is not a metaphor. It is a practice, an energy, a tangible skill, and we will practice it now. Find a place where you can be still for a moment, seated if possible, with your feet resting flat on the floor. Let your hands rest gently in your lap. Close your eyes and bring your awareness back to the quiet, steady rhythm of your breath. Do not change it, just notice it. The air entering, the air leaving. This breath is the constant reminder of your connection to the world outside, a ceaseless exchange. Now, bring your full attention to the soles of your feet. Feel the texture of your socks or the cool smoothness of the floor beneath you. Feel the solid, unwavering presence of the ground. This is not just wood or concrete or carpet. This is the surface of a planet, a living, breathing sphere of rock and water and fire hurtling through space. And you are connected to it right now through the soles of your feet. From this point of contact, I want you to imagine. Imagine roots made of soft, white light beginning to sprout from the bottoms of your feet. See them or feel them as they gently but firmly push downwards, past the floorboards, through the foundations of the building, and deep into the cool, dark, nourishing soil of the earth. These are not aggressive roots, they are curious and receptive. They sink deeper and deeper, weaving around ancient stones, through underground streams, down into the bedrock of the continent. Feel them extending, spreading, creating a vast and stable network that anchors you to the very core of the planet. There is no rush. Just feel this connection growing stronger, more real, with every breath. You are not just sitting on the earth, you are plugged into it. You are a part of its immense, silent, powerful life. Now, begin to feel what these roots can do. They can draw energy. Imagine drawing up from the deep earth a current of profound calm. This is not an empty, numb calm. It is a living stillness. It is the patience of a mountain, the quiet strength of a forest floor. Draw this energy up through your roots, a cool, dark, steady current of peace. Feel it enter the soles of your feet, tingling, grounding. Feel it rise up through your ankles, your calves, your knees, filling your legs with a sense of solidity and weight. Your legs are no longer just limbs, they are the trunks of two ancient trees, immovable, stable, secure. Allow this earthly energy to pool in your pelvis, the bowl of your physical foundation, bringing a sense of safety and belonging. You belong here, on this planet, in this body, at this time. Let that truth settle into your very bones. There is no need to strive or prove your worthiness. Your existence is your proof. The planet holds you, supports you, and nourishes you without condition. This is the antidote to anxiety. Anxiety is the energy of a tree with no roots, its upper branches trembling in every little breeze, its leaves scattering in the wind of overthinking. A grounded being can still feel the wind, can still face the storm, but they are not uprooted by it. Their core remains still. When the mind is racing, when fear is circling, the practice is always the same. Come down out of the chaotic thoughts and into the solid reality of the body. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the steady pull of gravity, which is not a force holding you down, but the constant, loving embrace of the earth holding you close. Practice this. When you are standing in a line, feel your roots. When you are sitting at a desk, feel your connection to the ground. When you are walking, feel each footstep as a kiss to the earth, a reaffirmation of your presence. This is active, walking meditation. This is bringing the sacred into the ordinary. And from this deeply rooted place, something miraculous happens. You can finally, safely, open up to the sky. Feel that earthly energy, that calm solidity. as it continues to rise up your spine, your central channel, the trunk of your inner tree. As it rises, it meets another energy, an energy of light, of spirit, of infinite potential that is always streaming down from the heavens, from the cosmos. Imagine it as a column of brilliant golden white light entering through the crown of your head. This is the energy of inspiration, of wisdom, of consciousness itself. In the ungrounded person, this energy can feel like static, creating more anxiety, more unanchored thoughts. But in you, the rooted tree, it is sunlight, it is nourishment. Feel these two energies meet and mingle within you, in the center of your chest, in the space of your heart. The deep, calm, dark energy of the earth, and the bright, expansive, light energy of the sky. This is the union, as above, so below. You are the meeting place. You are the tree that connects worlds. This practice demolishes the great lie of spiritual bypassing, the tragic tendency to use spiritual concepts to avoid the messy, beautiful reality of human life. People will talk of vibrations and dimensions while their relationships crumble. Their finances are in chaos, and their bodies are neglected. They want the leaves and the flowers without the dirt and the roots. It cannot work. True spirituality does not make you less human. It makes you more fully, consciously, and compassionately human. Grounding your spirit in your flesh gives you the stability to actually deal with life. It gives you the calm to navigate difficult conversations. It gives you the presence to manage your money with wisdom. It gives you the resilience to feel your pain without being destroyed by it. It makes you a shelter for others, not another leaf tossed in the wind. To be spiritual is to be profoundly practical. It is to take responsibility for your kingdom, to tend its soil, and to rule with love. So let this be your work, to become a great, ancient, and beautiful tree, to be so deeply rooted in the reality of your physical being that you can stretch your branches fearlessly to the sun, to the moon, and to the stars. To know that you are a child of both earth and sky, and that your body is not a mistake, but the sacred meeting point of them both. The healing you seek will not be found in leaving your body, but by finally, fully, and gratefully coming home to it. Enlightenment is not an escape. It is the ultimate act of arrival. It is spirit becoming so grounded in flesh that the flesh itself becomes luminous. It is the kingdom of earth, finally recognized as the mirror of the kingdom of heaven. We have stood together at the shore of the great moonlit ocean of the subconscious. We have acknowledged its deep currents, its hidden creatures, and its sunken treasures. Awareness is the first essential step. To see the patterns, to feel the pull of the tides, is a profound act of awakening. But awareness alone, if not followed by action, can lead to a state of passive overwhelm, a feeling of being a helpless victim to the vastness of our own inner sea. And so, we now take the second step. We move from being a mere observer of our foundation to becoming its conscious architect. We have seen the blueprint, now we pick up the tools. The sacred work of healing Yesod is this: to systematically, patiently, and lovingly replace a foundation of illusion with a foundation of truth. Imagine the life you wish to create. A life of peace, of joy, of purpose, of loving connection, of vibrant health. This is the magnificent house you wish to build. For years, you have tried to build this house. You have gathered the materials, the positive intentions, the new habits, the vision boards, but every time you build a wall, it crumbles. Every time you lay a floor, it cracks. And you have grown exhausted, disheartened, believing perhaps that you are a poor builder or that the materials are faulty. But the problem has never been the house, and it has never been you, the builder. The problem has been the ground upon which you have been trying to build. You have been trying to erect a temple on a swamp. This swamp is the collection of core limiting beliefs that fester in the depths of your subconscious. These beliefs, learned in childhood, absorbed from your culture, or even inherited from your ancestors, form a foundation so unstable that nothing of true and lasting value can be built upon it. What are these beliefs? They are insidious whispers from the depths of the ocean, and they almost always sound like undeniable truth. They are simple, powerful, and devastating. Beliefs like, I am not worthy, I am not safe, I am not lovable, there is not enough for me, I am fundamentally flawed, I will be abandoned. One of these, or a variation of it, is the cracked bedrock beneath every recurring struggle in your life. The pattern of failed relationships is built on the belief that you are not lovable. The pattern of financial lack is built on the belief that you are not worthy of abundance. The pattern of chronic anxiety is built on the belief that you are not safe. These are not truths, they are programs. They are old, outdated software running in the operating system of your soul, creating a reality that matches their code. Our work is not to fight these programs, for what you resist persists. Our work is to render them obsolete by shining a light so bright upon them that they dissolve back into the nothingness from which they came. The most powerful tool we have for this is the light of conscious, loving inquiry. We are going to take one of these foundational beliefs, place it before us, and question it, not with aggression, but with the simple, relentless curiosity of a child. Let us do this now, together. Think of one area in your life where you feel perpetually stuck, a pattern of frustration that seems to follow you everywhere. Feel the emotion that this pattern generates in you. It might be sadness, anger, fear, or shame. Now look beneath that emotion. What is the thought, the belief, that is holding it in place? Let it surface. Let's use the most common and powerful one as our example. I am not good enough. Take this belief, I am not good enough, and hold it in your awareness. Do not merge with it. Do not fight it. Simply observe it, as if it were a strange object you have found. Now, with genuine curiosity, ask the first question, is this belief 100% absolutely true in all times and all places? Is it a law of the universe, as true as gravity? Can you know with absolute certainty that you are not good enough? Immediately, the solid ground of the belief begins to shake, for of course, you cannot know that. You can find evidence for it, because the mind is an expert at finding what it looks for, but you cannot know it is an absolute truth. You have just created the first crack in its structure. Now, ask the second question. When was the very first time I remember feeling this way? Who taught me this belief? Go back in time. You were not born believing you were not good enough. A newborn baby is a perfect expression of worthiness. So where did it come from? Perhaps it was a parent's critical comment, a teacher's disappointment, a comparison to a sibling, a moment of failure on the playground. See that moment. Realize that this belief was not born from you, it was given to you. It was an external opinion that you, as a child, in your innocence and openness, accepted as truth and internalized. It is not your belief. It is second-hand information. You have been running your entire adult life on a piece of flawed, second-hand data. This realization depersonalizes the belief. It is not an innate flaw in you. It is a learned program. Now, the third question. Still holding the belief gently in your awareness, ask, what has this belief cost me? Let the answers flow without censorship. What dreams has it prevented you from pursuing? What relationships has it sabotaged? What words have you left unspoken? How much joy has it stolen? How much energy has it drained from you, forcing you to constantly prove yourself, to perform, to seek validation? Feel the true weight of this belief. Allow yourself to feel the righteous anger, the deep sadness of what this single false idea has cost your beautiful soul. This feeling is not meant to create despair. It is meant to create motivation. It is the fuel that will give you the strength to say, no more. I will not allow this lie to govern my kingdom for one more day. Finally, the fourth and most liberating question. Ask yourself, who would I be without this belief? Close your eyes and truly imagine it. If you woke up tomorrow morning and the program, "I am not good enough," had been completely wiped from your system, what would you do? How would you walk? How would you speak? What choices would you make? For your work, for your love, for your health? What would you create if the fear of not being good enough was simply not a factor? Feel that version of you. That version is not a fantasy. It is the real you, the you that has been waiting patiently beneath the sludge of the old foundation. You have just created a new energetic template. You have given your subconscious a new destination to navigate towards. This process of inquiry is the holy acid that dissolves the rusted chains of illusion. You can use it on any limiting belief that you discover. But after we dissolve the old, we must build with the new. We must lay a new foundation. And we do not do this by simply repeating, "I am good enough." The ego is clever and will often reject such direct affirmations. Instead, we go deeper. We lay a foundation on a truth so profound that the ego cannot argue with it. This is the bedrock truth that was there all along. You are an irreplaceable, unique spark of the divine source of all life. Your worth is not conditional. It is not based on your achievements, your appearance, your wealth, or the opinions of others. Your worth is inherent, absolute, and eternal. It was sealed into your being at the moment of your conception and can never be taken away. It is your very nature. This is the true foundation of Yesod. It is the bedrock that lies beneath the swamp. The work of healing is the work of excavation. It is the messy, courageous work of digging away the mud and the lies, layer by layer, until you hit the solid, unshakable ground of your own divine nature. And once you touch that bedrock, you build your life upon it. You begin to make choices, not from a place of seeking worth, but from a place of expressing the worth that is already there. You create not to gain love, but to share the love that you are. You act not to prove yourself, but to enjoy the experience of your own magnificent energy moving in the world. This is not a single event. It is a moment-to-moment practice. The old currents will still flow for a while. The creatures of the deep will still surface. But now, you have a new response. When the whisper of, "I am not good enough," rises from the depths, you do not have to believe it. You do not have to be swept away by its current. You can meet it with the light of your awareness. You can smile at it and say, "I see you, old story. But I am no longer building on that ground. I am building on bedrock." With this sacred work, the waters of your subconscious ocean begin to clear. The mirror of Yesod begins to reflect the light of your true self with more clarity and brilliance. And the life you create in your kingdom of Malkuth begins to transform, effortlessly and miraculously, into a true reflection of the divine beauty that has always been your foundation. Having begun to stabilize our foundation, we can now ascend. We rise from the watery, lunar depths of the subconscious and into the clearer air of the conscious self. The journey now carries us upwards, to the two great pillars that stand upon this foundation, the twin forces that shape our experience, the pillar of the intellect and the pillar of the heart. We turn now to the structured, crystalline world of the mind. We ascend, leaving the deep, watery foundation of the subconscious. We rise into the clear, structured air of the conscious mind. Our journey up the Tree of Life now brings us to the first of two great pillars that stand upon the foundation we have just explored. This is the pillar of the intellect, and its crowning sphere is called Hod. The word Hod translates to splendor or glory, a name that might seem strange for the realm of logic and reason, which we often see as dry and colorless. But this name holds a profound secret about the true and highest purpose of your mind. We have entered the Crystal Palace. Imagine a vast and intricate palace, built entirely of multifaceted, gleaming crystal. Its architecture is flawless, a breathtaking display of geometry, precision, and order. This palace is your intellect. It is the part of you that loves to learn, to name, to categorize, and to understand. It is the architect of your thoughts, the librarian of your memories, the strategist that helps you navigate the complexities of life. In its pure form, it is a place of sublime beauty. It is a magnificent prism that is designed to take the single, undifferentiated white light of pure spirit and break it down into a glorious spectrum of understandable concepts, words, and ideas. This is the splendor of Had. It is the aha moment of sudden understanding. It is the deep satisfaction of a problem solved. It is the beauty of a perfect argument, the elegance of a mathematical formula. It is the very faculty that allows us to build cities, write symphonies, and contemplate the stars. Your mind is a miracle. It is a tool of unimaginable power and grace. But for so many of us, this crystal palace is no longer a place of splendor. We do not experience our minds as a source of clarity and light. We experience them as a prison. What has happened? The palace has grown dusty. Over the years, the crystalline walls, once perfectly transparent, have become coated with the thick, gray dust of dogma, of second-hand opinions, of rigid beliefs, and unquestioned assumptions. The windows, designed to look out upon the vast landscape of reality, have become tarnished, acting more like mirrors that only reflect back our own biases and fears. We think we are seeing the world, but we are only seeing the smudges on our own glass. The light that enters is no longer refracted into a beautiful spectrum of wisdom, but is scattered into a chaotic, confusing mess of anxious thoughts. The once splendid palace has become a hall of confusing mirrors and haunting echoes. And within this dusty palace, the intellect, which was designed to be the wise and humble librarian of the soul, stages a coup. It declares itself the absolute monarch of your entire being. From its crystal throne, it looks down upon the other parts of you with disdain. It looks down at the body, your kingdom in Malkuth, and sees it as a crude, messy beast to be disciplined and controlled. It looks down at the heart with its passionate, fiery emotions and calls them illogical, irrational, and dangerous. It looks down into the deep, watery world of the subconscious, your foundation in Yesod, and dismisses its dreams and intuitions as meaningless fantasy. This tyrannical intellect believes that only what can be measured, proven, and articulated in clear language is real. It becomes a king ruling a barren kingdom, having exiled its most vital subjects. This is the state of the modern mind. This is the source of the epidemic of overthinking. You know this experience intimately. It is the state of analysis paralysis, where you are frozen, unable to make a decision because your mind is endlessly calculating every possible outcome, demanding a guarantee of success that life never offers. It is the sharp, cold voice of the inner critic, which uses the mind's brilliant tool of analysis not to solve problems, but to dissect your own character, cataloging your every failure and flaw with ruthless precision. It is the experience of living life as a spectator, standing on the shore of your own feelings, analyzing them, labeling them, judging them, but never, ever allowing yourself to actually feel them. You become a commentator on your own life, rather than its protagonist. This creates a profound and painful sense of alienation, a feeling of being a ghost in your own machine. The tyrannical mind is obsessed with control. It believes that if it can just think enough, worry enough, plan enough, it can neutralize the inherent uncertainty of life. It scans the future like a radar, constantly searching for threats, playing out catastrophic scenarios, believing that this constant vigilance is keeping you safe. But it is not keeping you safe. It is keeping you in a state of chronic, low-grade fear. It is exhausting you. It is draining your life force, which is meant to be used for creating and loving and experiencing, and diverting it into the useless, repetitive activity of spinning thoughts. The crystal palace becomes a hamster wheel, spinning faster and faster, but going nowhere. And you are the one who is left breathless, tired, and wondering why a life filled with so much thinking can feel so empty. The path to healing Hod, to cleaning the crystal palace, is not to demolish it. It is not to declare war on your intellect. To do so would be to discard one of the most precious gifts you possess. The path is to restore the intellect to its rightful place. The mind is not the king. It is the prime minister. It is the grand vizier. It is the most brilliant, loyal, and capable servant of the true sovereign, which is your heart, your soul, your higher self. The mind's proper job is not to decide the destination of the journey. That is the heart's work. The mind's job is to look at the destination chosen by the heart, and then, with its incredible strategic ability, to draw the best possible map to get there. It is a tool, not a master. When the mind understands and accepts this role, it relaxes. The frantic need to control everything subsides. It can finally put down the heavy crown it was never meant to wear and joyfully pick up the pen and the compass it was designed to use. How do we begin this process of restoration? We begin by cultivating silence. The tyrannical mind abhors a vacuum. It will fill every available moment with noise. The practice of meditation, even for just a few minutes a day, is like opening a window in the dusty palace. At first, it just seems to stir up more dust. The thoughts may seem to come even faster, but slowly, patiently, the dust begins to settle. Moments of quiet clarity begin to appear. In these silent moments, other voices can finally be heard. The quiet whisper of intuition from the depths of Yesod, the warm call of passion from across the tree in the realm of the heart. By creating silence, you are not killing the mind. You are creating the space for it to hear the wisdom of the entire kingdom, and we begin to appreciate its true splendor once more. We reclaim the joy of learning, the thrill of a new idea, the power of clear communication. When your mind is calm and clear, it can become a conduit for profound insight. When it is focused, it can solve problems that seemed intractable. When it is trained to serve your highest good, it can dismantle limiting beliefs with the precision of a surgeon. The goal is to transform your mind from a constant source of anxiety into a trusted and cherished advisor. To walk through your own crystal palace, not as a prisoner, but as a sovereign ruler, appreciating its beauty, using its tools wisely, and ensuring its walls are kept clean, so that the pure light of truth can always shine through. We have now seen the palace, both in its potential glory and its current, often dusty and overcrowded state. We have recognized the lonely tyranny of the runaway intellect and the exhaustion it produces. The first great act of restoring this palace to its splendor, of transforming the tyrant back into a wise advisor, is to reclaim its most powerful and beautiful tool, the tool of language. For it is through language that the mind built its prison, and it is through language that it can be set free. We must now teach the mind to speak a new language, not the language of doubt and criticism, but the pure, clear, resonant language of authentic truth. You stand now within the crystal palace of your mind, a place of potential splendor that has often felt more like a prison of anxious thought. You have seen how the intellect, in its bid for control, can cut you off from the wisdom of your body and the truth of your heart. The first step towards restoration was silence, creating the space to hear yourself again. The second, and most transformative step, is to reclaim the primary tool of the mind, its greatest magic, the Word. For in the beginning of all creation, in every sacred text, is the Word. Language is not a passive tool for describing reality. It is an active, potent force for creating it. Every word you speak is a spell. Every sentence is an incantation that either reinforces the walls of your prison or dissolves them. For too long you have used this sacred power not to express your truth, but to hide it. Now, we learn to speak again. Consider how a misaligned mind, a dusty crystal palace, uses language. It uses it as a shield. There is the language of intellectualization, a way of speaking about feelings from a great and safe distance. You might say, I am experiencing a state of emotional dysregulation, when the simple, vulnerable truth is, I am heartbroken and afraid. The complex words create a buffer, a sterile laboratory glass between you and the messy, beautiful reality of your own heart. It keeps you safe, but it also keeps you utterly alone. A lonely scholar observing your own life through a telescope. Then there is the language of people-pleasing, the chameleonic tongue that changes its color to match whatever environment it is in. It is the voice that says, "Yes, that's fine," when every cell in your body is screaming, "No, this is a violation." It is the voice that laughs at a joke you find offensive, that agrees with an opinion you find abhorrent, all for the sake of avoiding conflict, of being liked. Each word spoken in this tongue is a small betrayal of the soul, a handful of dust thrown onto the crystal walls of your palace, making it harder and harder to see who you truly are. But the most potent and poisonous use of language is silence, the truths left unspoken, the love never expressed, the boundaries never set, the forgiveness never offered, the resentment that simmers beneath a surface of polite smiles. We believe this silence is peace, but it is not. It is a slow-acting poison that sickens the entire kingdom. It is the stagnant water in the castle moat, breeding discontent and disease. Every unspoken truth is a ghost that haunts the corridors of your mind, draining your energy, creating a tension in your body, a dissonance in your spirit. You are at war with yourself, and the energy required to hold down these truths is the very energy you need to build the life you desire. In every significant interaction, you stand at a crossroads. With your words and with your silence, you are making a choice. You are either building a wall or you are building a bridge. A wall is easy. It is built of silence, of half-truths, of intellectual defenses, of agreeable nods. It protects you from the perceived threat of another person's reaction. It keeps you safe in your tower. But safety is not the same as connection, or love, or freedom. A bridge, on the other hand, is a terrifying and beautiful thing. It is built of fragile, powerful materials, vulnerability, honesty, I statements. It is the attempt to span the chasm of misunderstanding that separates two human beings. To build a bridge is to say, "This is my side of the river. This is what it looks like from here. This is my truth." It is a risk. The other person may not want to meet you on the bridge. They may stay on their own side or even try to tear the bridge down, but you have to build it anyway. Because the act of building the bridge is what sets you free. The integrity is not in the outcome, but in the attempt. So what is this authentic truth you are meant to speak? It is not a weapon. It is not about being brutally honest in a way that shames or attacks another. The mind, in its arrogance, often mistakes judgment for truth. True, authentic speech is not about telling other people about themselves. It is about revealing yourself. It is rooted in I statements. Not, "You are being unfair," but, "When this happens, I feel dismissed and hurt." Not, "You are wrong," but, "My understanding of this is different." It is a clean, clear expression of your own inner reality, offered without blame or demand. It is the truth of your body, the truth of your heart, translated into language by a mind that has agreed to serve rather than rule. This can feel like the most dangerous thing in the world, especially if you have a lifetime of practice in self-silencing. So we do not start on the battlefield, we start in the sanctuary. Your journal is the sacred training ground for speaking your authentic truth. It is the place where you can tell the truth to the one person who needs to hear it most, yourself. So let this be your practice. Find that place of tension in your life, that relationship or situation haunted by unspoken things. Take your journal and write a letter that you will never, ever send. Give yourself permission to be uncensored. Let it all out. The rage, the disappointment, the grief, the longing, the secret hopes. Use the words you were never allowed to use. Fill pages with the raw, undiluted truth of your experience. This act alone is a powerful release. It is lancing a wound, letting the poison drain out onto the page instead of continuing to circulate in your system. The next step is even more powerful. Stand in front of a mirror and read what you have written out loud. Let your own ears hear your own voice speak your truth. At first, your voice may shake. You may feel shame or fear, but push through it. As you speak, you are rewiring your entire being. You are aligning your mind, your voice, and your body. You are showing yourself that you can survive speaking the truth. You are breaking the spell of silence. You are polishing the crystal of your mind with the cleansing friction of honesty. In that moment, you are no longer a victim of your circumstances. You are the courageous narrator of your own story. You are taking back the power. The result of this practice is liberation. A vast amount of your life force has been tied up in the exhausting job of suppression. When you speak your truth, first to yourself, and then, when it feels safe and right, to others, that energy is released. It returns to you, ready to be used for joy, for creativity, for love. You will feel lighter, you will walk taller. You will feel a sense of wholeness, of integrity, that is more satisfying than any external validation. This is the splendor of Hod fully realized. It is the mind as a crystal instrument, a Stradivarius violin, playing the beautiful, clear, and honest music of the soul. It is the word used not to obscure, but to reveal. It is the truth setting you free. Having begun to polish the crystal of the mind and to wield the word as a powerful tool of truth, we quickly realize that something else is needed. For truth, without feeling, can be cold. Logic, without passion, is lifeless. The sword of reason, however sharp and brilliant, is only one half of our power. To be whole, to be truly alive, the mind must be in partnership with its twin, its polar opposite. We must now journey across the tree, from the pillar of form to the pillar of force. We must learn to embrace the unending, chaotic, and glorious fire of the heart. We leave the clear, structured air of the intellect for the warm, unpredictable winds of emotion. We go now to meet Hod's eternal counterpart. We go to Netzach. We have crossed the central column of the tree. We have left the cool, crystalline palace of the intellect, with its precise architecture of logic and its powerful, articulate language. Now, we step into a different world entirely. We arrive at the opposite pillar, the pillar of force, and here we find Hod's twin, its necessary and eternal counterpart. We have come to Netzach. This sphere's name translates as victory and also as eternity. Here, there are no straight lines, no clear definitions. We have entered a wild green forest at dusk, a place of untamed nature, of instinct, of raw, unbridled life force. We have come to the realm of the heart's fire. We have come to the world of emotion. If Hod was the mind, Netzach is the desire. If Hod was the theory, Netzach is the passion. And in our modern world, which worships the intellect, this is the part of ourselves we have been taught to fear, to mistrust, and to suppress. From a young age, you were given subtle and not so subtle lessons about this inner fire. When you cried, you were told to stop it. When you were bursting with excitement, you were told to calm down. When you burned with anger, you were told it was unacceptable. You were taught that emotions were the enemy of reason, the saboteur of good decision-making, a messy, inconvenient, and slightly embarrassing bodily function. The cool, detached logic of Hod was praised as mature and intelligent, while the fiery, unpredictable passion of Netzach was denigrated as childish and weak. And so, you learned to control your fire. You learned to pour water on it, to smother it with a heavy blanket of rationalization, to build a thick stone wall around it so that no one, not even yourself, could feel its heat. This suppression leads to one of two tragic outcomes. For many, the fire simply begins to die. The constant suppression starves it of oxygen. The embers grow dim. This is the state of numbness, of apathy, of quiet despair that so many feel. It is the life lived in shades of gray. You go through the motions, you do what is expected, you function, but the spark is gone. The music of life has no effect on you. You feel a profound sense of emptiness, a lack of meaning, a deep and secret boredom with your own existence. You watch others who are passionate, who are engaged, who feel deeply, and you wonder, what is wrong with you? There is nothing wrong with you. Your fire has simply been starved. You are living in the cold, and you have forgotten the feeling of warmth. For others, the second outcome occurs. The fire, suppressed for so long, cannot be contained forever. It builds pressure behind the stone walls until it bursts forth, uncontrollably. It explodes as a wildfire of rage over a minor incident. It erupts as a torrent of hysterical grief that seems disproportionate to the cause. It manifests as a consuming obsession or an irrational infatuation. These moments of chaotic, overwhelming emotion become proof for the intellect, for Had, that it was right all along. See, the mind says smugly, I told you emotions were dangerous and destructive. They must be controlled. And so the cycle continues. The fire is beaten back, the walls are built even thicker, and the pressure begins to build once more. You are caught in a devastating loop of suppression followed by explosion, never knowing the peace of a steady, life-giving flame. The truth is that this fire, your capacity to feel, is the very energy of life itself. It is not the enemy, it is the fuel. Your intellect can design the most perfect and beautiful car, but without the fire of gasoline, it will sit in the garage forever, a cold monument to unrealized potential. Your passion is your fuel. Your desire is the rocket engine that can propel you towards your dreams. Your anger is the fire that can burn down injustice and create powerful boundaries. Your joy is the sunlight that can warm everyone around you. Your grief is the rain that can cleanse the land and make it fertile for new growth. To deny your emotions is to deny your own aliveness. It is to choose to be a black and white photograph in a world of vibrant color. Netzach is also the source of all artistic creation. No great art was ever born from a spreadsheet or a logical proof. Art is born when feeling becomes so intense it must be given form. It is the musician translating heartbreak into a melody. It is the painter capturing the fire of a sunset on canvas. It is the poet wrestling with the ecstasy of love. Netzach is that raw, non-verbal, instinctive drive to create, to express, to make beauty out of the chaos of the human heart. When you feel a lack of creativity in your life, it is often because you have severed your connection to the passionate, feeling world of Netzach. And it is this sphere which holds the secret to victory and eternity. Why are these words associated with emotion? Because it is passion, not logic, that grants us the power of endurance. It is the fire of Netzach that keeps you going when your rational mind tells you that the odds are impossible, that you should give up. It is the irrational love for a dream that allows an entrepreneur to work for years without reward. It is the burning desire for a better world that fuels the activist through countless setbacks. It is the deep, abiding passion for a subject that enables a scientist to dedicate a lifetime to a single problem. Logic can get you started, but only passion will see you through to the finish line. This is the victory of Netzach. It is the triumph of the enduring heart over the calculating mind. It is the eternal, renewable energy source of the soul. So I ask you now, where is your fire? What did you love to do as a child before the world told you it was a waste of time? What subject could you talk about for hours, your voice filled with an energy that surprises even you? What sight of beauty in nature, in art, in another human being can still stop you in your tracks and make your heart ache with a nameless longing? What injustice in your own life or in the world makes a hot, clean anger rise in your chest? These are the clues. These are the hot embers still glowing beneath the gray ash of your daily life. Your work is not to create a fire from scratch, but to find these embers and to gently, lovingly breathe life back into them. Give yourself permission to feel. This is the first step in healing Netzach. Find a safe space and allow an emotion to simply be there, without judgment or the need to fix it. If sadness comes, let the tears flow. Tears are not weakness, they are the body's sacred way of releasing pain. If anger comes, let yourself feel its heat, its power. You don't have to act on it, but you must not deny its existence. Punch a pillow, scream in your car, acknowledge its presence. Let it move through you. Your emotions are like weather systems. They are not you. You are the sky, and they are the storms and the sunshine that pass through. By allowing them to pass through without resistance, you stop them from becoming trapped, stagnant energy in your body. The mind, Had, and the heart, Netzach, are not meant to be enemies. They are meant to be partners in a sacred dance. Netzach, the heart, is the one who hears the music and feels the desire to move. It says, "I want to dance." Had, the mind, is the partner who then says, "Excellent." Let us clear a space on the floor, check for obstacles, and choreograph the steps. The passion of Netzach provides the why. The clarity of Had provides the how. When they work together, your life becomes a work of art, a passionate, purposeful, and intelligent dance. We have stood now before the great fire of our own hearts. We have acknowledged its absolute necessity for a life of meaning, creativity, and vitality. We have given ourselves permission to feel its heat again, to honor its wisdom, to seek out its glowing embers. But how do we tend this fire so that it warms and illuminates us rather than consuming us in chaos? How do we build a hearth for this flame so that it becomes a source of steady, reliable power? How do we find the victory not by conquering our feelings, but by moving through them with grace and courage? We must now learn the art of emotional alchemy. You have stood before the sacred fire of your own heart. You have acknowledged its power, its necessity, and its vital, life-giving heat. You have given yourself permission to feel again, to thaw the frozen numbness, to welcome the spark back into your being. But this permission can bring with it a profound and understandable fear. A fear that if you truly open the door to your feelings, you will not just feel a gentle warmth, but a raging inferno. A fear that if you allow yourself to truly grieve, the tears will never stop. A fear that if you touch the molten core of your anger, it will consume you and everything you love. You fear that in welcoming the fire, you will become the fire. And so you stand at the threshold, hesitating, wanting to feel alive but terrified of being destroyed by that very aliveness. This is the great paradox of Netzach, and the key to its victory lies in one of the most subtle and powerful shifts in consciousness you will ever make. You are not the wave, you are the surfer. Imagine yourself standing in the ocean. A colossal wave of emotion, grief, rage, disparities up before you. The person who is identified with their emotions, the person who believes, "I am sad," is like a swimmer caught in the surf. They are picked up, tossed, and slammed against the sand, emerging bruised, sputtering, and terrified of the water. The wave is a brutal, overwhelming force. To them, the only rational choice is to stay out of the ocean altogether, to live on the dry, safe, but sterile land of emotional numbness. But there is another way. The surfer sees the same wave. They do not underestimate its power, they respect it, but they do not believe they are the wave. They have a surfboard, a tool of consciousness, of presence, of practice. They turn to face the wave, and at the perfect moment, they paddle, they push, and they rise with it. They do not conquer the wave, they do not defeat it, they harmonize with its energy. They use its immense power to carry them forward on an exhilarating, powerful ride. When the ride is over, the wave dissipates back into the ocean, and the surfer remains, floating peacefully, waiting for the next one. This is the victory of Netzach. It is the art of feeling fully, without being consumed. How do we learn to surf? We begin by building our surfboard. That board is your own conscious, loving presence, and we learn to use it by practicing with smaller waves before we paddle out into the giants. Let us practice now. I invite you to bring your awareness back into your body, the kingdom of Malkuth. Feel your feet on the floor. the weight of your body in the chair. Remember the solid ground beneath you. Your body is the container. It is the shoreline. It is what holds you as you learn to navigate the water. Now, gently bring to mind an emotion you have been feeling recently. Not a tidal wave of trauma, but perhaps a persistent wave of irritation, a current of anxiety, a pang of loneliness. Choose one. Now, instead of getting lost in the story behind the feeling, the who, what, when, and why, I want you to ask a different question. Where does this feeling live in my body? Be a curious explorer. Does the anxiety flutter in your chest like a trapped bird? Does the irritation burn in your stomach like a hot coal? Does the loneliness feel like a hollow ache in your solar plexus? Give the abstract emotion a physical location. By doing this, you have already begun to shift from being the emotion to being the one who is observing the emotion as a physical sensation. You have created a tiny bit of space. Now, take your awareness, like a gentle, warm hand, and place it directly on that physical sensation. And then, simply breathe. Breathe into it. Do not try to make it go away. Do not try to fix it or analyze it or judge it as bad. Your only job is to be with it, to bring it the oxygen of your conscious, loving attention. If it is a tightness in your throat, breathe into the tightness. If it is a knot in your shoulders, breathe into the knot. You are not fighting the feeling. You are tending to it. You are creating a safe hearth for this wild fire. You are letting it know that it is allowed to be here. What you will find is something miraculous. When a sensation is met with this kind of accepting presence, it begins to soften. It begins to change. It may intensify for a moment, and then it will begin to dissolve. You are learning that all feelings, like all waves, are impermanent. They rise, they peak, and if you allow them to, they fall. Let us add another layer to this practice. As you sit here, being with this sensation in your body, I want you to introduce a new identity for yourself. You are not the swimmer being tossed by the waves. You are not even the surfer on the board. You are the sky. Think of this. Your consciousness is like a vast, open, limitless sky. Your emotions, the anger, the joy, the fear are like the weather. Storm clouds may gather, lightning may flash, rain may fall, the sun may blaze, but the sky is never, ever harmed by the weather. The sky does not become the storm. It is the vast, silent, allowing space in which the storm happens. The storm passes. The sky remains. You are that sky. The sadness is a cloud passing through the vastness of you. The anger is a bolt of lightning illuminating the vastness of you. But it is not you. You are the space that holds it all. Rest in this knowing. When a difficult emotion arises, whisper to yourself, I am the sky. This is just weather. Feel the immediate shift. Feel the freedom, the perspective, the immense peace in that realization. This is the true meaning of victory in Netzach. The victory is not the absence of difficult emotions. A life without such feelings would be a life half-lived. The victory is the radical act of presence in the face of them. Every time you can stay with your sadness without reaching for a distraction, you have won. Every time you can feel the heat of your anger without lashing out at someone, you have won. Every time you can feel the grip of your fear without letting it paralyze you, you have won. These are the silent, internal victories that build a soul of immense strength and resilience. This is what it means to have character. It is to have the capacity to hold the full spectrum of human experience within your own heart, without breaking. When you can do this, your emotions transform from chaotic enemies into intelligent allies. They become an internal guidance system. Your anger, when you can listen to it without becoming it, is a messenger that tells you where your boundaries have been crossed. Your grief reveals what you truly love and value. Your fear shows you what you need to protect. Your joy is a compass needle pointing directly towards the life your soul wants to live. You stop being a victim of your feelings, and you become a student of their wisdom. You let the fire warm you, guide you, and fuel you, without ever letting it burn you. We have now walked the two great pillars of the self, We have polished the crystal palace of the mind in Hod, learning to wield the word with clarity and truth. We have built a sacred hearth for the fires of the heart in Netzach, learning to ride the waves of emotion with courage and grace. We have explored form and force, logic and passion. But a life lived on one pillar alone is a life forever out of balance. The ultimate journey is not to choose between the mind and the heart, but to unite them in a sacred marriage. And so, our path now leads us from these outer pillars to the radiant center of the tree. We ascend to the very heart of the matter, the place of balance, beauty, and integration, where the clarity of the intellect and the passion of the emotions can finally meet in loving, harmonious union. We are going to the golden sun. We are going to Sephirot. We have journeyed up from the solid ground of the body, through the murky, moonlit waters of the subconscious, and we have walked the opposing pillars of the self. We have explored the cool, crystalline palace of the mind, Hod, and we have stood before the wild, passionate fire of the heart, Netzach. You have felt this division within yourself your entire life. The constant war between what you think and what you feel. The mind pulls you one way, with its logic, its fears, and its plans. The heart pulls you another, with its desires, its passions, and its longings. You have lived your life as a house divided, a kingdom with two rival thrones, and the resulting friction has exhausted you, leaving you feeling fragmented, conflicted, and torn. A part of you yearns for discipline and order. Another part craves freedom and ecstatic release. Who is the real you? Which voice should you follow? The path to wholeness does not lie in choosing one side over the other. It does not lie on either pillar. The path to wholeness lies in the center. We now turn from the outer pillars and we take the final steps of our ascent into the very heart of the Tree of Life. We arrive at the sixth sphere, the central point, the place of perfect balance. We have come to Sephirot. The name Sephirot translates as beauty, and this is not the superficial beauty of appearances, but the deep, resonant, breathtaking beauty of perfect harmony. It is the beauty you feel when you witness a sunrise, where light and darkness are in perfect, loving balance. It is the beauty of a symphony, where dozens of different instruments, each with its own unique voice, unite to create a single, transcendent sound. This is the promise of Sephirot, to take all the warring parts of you, your mind, your heart, your body, your spirit, your light, and your shadow, and unite them in a state of exquisite, functional harmony. It is the experience of coming home to yourself. To understand Sephirot, imagine your soul as a solar system. Each of the other spheres we have visited are the planets, each with its own gravity, its own climate, its own unique character. Malkuth is the dense, physical earth. Yesod is the watery, reflective moon. Hod is the swift, communicative Mercury. Netzach is the passionate, loving Venus. But at the center of this entire system, holding everything together in its immense, gentle gravity, is the sun. Sephirot is the sun. It is the radiant golden star at the center of your being. Its light is the light of pure, conscious awareness. It is the eye that is aware of your thoughts, but is not the thoughts. It is the eye that is aware of your feelings, but is not the feelings. It is the silent, watchful presence that has been with you every moment of your life, the calm center in the storm of your personality. This is the seat of what many traditions call the higher self. It is the Christ consciousness, or the Buddha nature within you. It is the part of you that was never born and will never die. It is the peace of God, of Source, of the great mystery that is your essential nature. It is the one part of you that has never been wounded, never been traumatized, never been made to feel small. It has been there all along, waiting patiently, hidden behind the clouds of your conditioning, your beliefs, and your pain. To awaken Sephirot is to remember who you truly are. From this high, central vantage point of the sun, you can look upon all your inner planets with a new perspective. You can look upon the anxious workings of your mind, your Hod, not with frustration, but with compassion. as a parent would watch a brilliant but worried child. You can look upon the turbulent waves of your emotions, your netsack, not with fear, but with understanding, knowing they are simply energy-seeking expression. You can look down into the dark oceans of your subconscious, your yesod, and see the wounded creatures there not as monsters, but as lost parts of yourself, longing to be brought into the light and healed. The primary quality of Sephirot is this profound, unconditional, all-encompassing compassion. It is the healing balm that soothes the entire system. It is the love that ends the inner war. Let us connect with this center now. Bring your attention away from the chatter in your head and let it drop down into the center of your chest, into the area of your physical heart. Place your hand there if it helps you to focus. And in this space, I want you to imagine a small, warm, golden ball of light, no bigger than a marble. It may be faint at first, and that is perfectly fine. This is your inner sun. Now, as you breathe in, imagine you are breathing pure, golden light directly into this sphere, causing it to glow a little brighter, a little warmer. And as you breathe out, imagine this warm, golden light radiating from your heart center outwards, filling your entire chest. Continue this with each breath. Inhaling, you brighten the sun. Exhaling, you radiate its warmth. Feel it expanding, growing from a marble to a golf ball, to an orange, to a radiant sun that fills your entire torso, its gentle light pouring down into your legs and feet, up through your throat and into your head, and out through your arms and hands. Your entire body is now filled with this warm, safe, golden light. You are glowing with the light of your own soul. Now, from this place of radiance, think of a part of yourself that you often judge or dislike. Perhaps it is the anxious part, the lazy part, the angry part, the sad part. Bring that part of you to mind, and instead of pushing it away as you normally would, I want you to send your golden light to it. Bathe this difficult part of yourself in the unconditional love and acceptance of your own inner sun. Do not try to change it. Simply offer it warmth, offer it compassion. Let it know that it too is a welcome part of your kingdom. Let it know that it is seen and it is loved. This is the practice of Sephirot. It is the practice of radical self-acceptance. It is how you begin to heal the fragmentation within and gather all the lost pieces of yourself back into the wholeness of your own heart. When you operate from Sephirot, you become the balance point. You are no longer tossed back and forth between the extremes of cold logic and chaotic emotion. You stand in the center, and you use both. You honor the wisdom of your feelings, and you channel that wisdom through the clear structure of your mind. You become a being of both profound love and profound clarity. This is true beauty. The beauty of an integrated human being, where body, mind, heart, and spirit are all aligned and working in harmony. Your life itself becomes a work of art. Your choices are no longer driven by fear or lack, but by a desire to express the beauty and love that you feel radiating from your own center. This golden sun, this higher self, this place of perfect peace and loving compassion is not something you need to create. It is your nature. It is already here. It has always been here. It is often obscured, yes, by the storm clouds of a busy mind or a turbulent heart, but it has never, not for a moment, been extinguished. Your spiritual practice, your path of return, is simply the art of remembering to come back to this center over and over again, to choose the sun over the clouds, to choose love over fear, to choose wholeness over fragmentation, to live from this radiant center, to truly embody the compassion of this golden sun is the great goal of the spiritual path. But the ego, the small self, the personality that you have constructed to navigate the world, does not give up its throne easily. It has been running the show for a very long time. It clings to its identity, which is often built upon its wounds, its grievances, and its pain. To truly step into the brilliant, unconditional light of Sephirot requires a willing surrender from this smaller self. It requires a conscious offering. It requires what the ancient mystics called a sacrifice. But this is not a sacrifice of pain or loss to be feared. It is a sacrifice of that which no longer serves you. It is the joyful release of a heavy burden, a sacrifice made purely and completely out of love for the truth of who you are. You are standing in the radiant center of your own being, bathed in the warm golden light of your inner sun, the sphere of Sephirot. Here, in the place of harmony, you have felt the possibility of wholeness, the promise of a life where your mind and heart are no longer at war. It is a place of profound peace and unconditional compassion for all the fragmented parts of yourself. And it is natural to want to live here always, to make this radiant center the permanent home of your awareness. But as you stand in this light, you may notice a shadow. It is the shadow of your own small self, the personality you have so carefully constructed over a lifetime. It is the ego, and it watches this emerging light with suspicion and fear. For the unconditional love of Sephirot is the one thing that threatens its very existence. To truly and permanently shift your center of gravity from the conflicted ego to the peaceful higher self, one final, profound act is required. This act is spoken of in all great mystical traditions. It is the key that unlocks the heart. The word for this act is sacrifice. Now, let this word land gently. In our modern language, sacrifice has become synonymous with pain, with loss, with giving up something you desperately want. It feels like a violation, but its true sacred meaning has been lost. The Latin root of the word sacrificium means to make sacred. It is not about losing something. It is about offering something up to a higher purpose, and in the offering, making it holy. The sacrifice required in Sephirot is not the sacrifice of your joy, your power, or your well-being. It is the sacrifice of the very things that block your joy, steal your power, and destroy your well-being. It is the most profound act of self-love you can possibly engage in. It is the willing, joyful, and liberating act of letting go of your false self so that your true self may finally be free. Imagine a master sculptor who is given a rough, shapeless block of marble. The sculptor does not see a mere stone. They see the angel, the masterpiece that is trapped within it. To reveal this angel, the sculptor must pick up a hammer and chisel. They must chip away, piece by piece, all the stone that is not the angel. Is this an act of violence against the stone? It is an act of liberation. Each piece of marble that falls to the floor is a sacrifice. It is the excess, the non-essential, being offered up for the sake of revealing the beauty within. You are both the marble and the sculptor. Your higher self is the angel sleeping within. And your ego, with all its fears, its defenses, and its painful history, is the excess stone that hides your own magnificence. The sacrifice of Sephirot is the loving, conscious act of chipping away everything that you are not in order to reveal everything that you are. So, what is this excess stone? What is it that we must lovingly offer up for sacrifice? We must sacrifice our grievances. Think of a person or a situation in your life that you hold a deep resentment towards. Feel the familiar heat of that anger, the satisfying story of how you were wronged. This story, this grievance, gives your ego a powerful sense of identity. It makes you the one who was wronged. It makes you right, and the ego loves to be right. But feel the cost of this identity. Feel the heavy, toxic energy it creates in your body. It is a poison you drink, hoping someone else will suffer. To sacrifice this grievance does not mean condoning what happened. It does not mean you have to reconcile with that person. It simply means you make a conscious choice to put down the hot coal you have been carrying. You choose peace over being right. You sacrifice the toxic satisfaction of your anger for the sacred freedom of your own heart. You let it go, not for them, but for you. We must sacrifice our most cherished wounds. For many of us, our trauma has become the central pillar of our identity. Our pain is the story we tell ourselves and the world about who we are. It makes us special. It explains our failures. It garners sympathy, but it also keeps us trapped in the past, forever defined by the worst things that have ever happened to us. The sacrifice here is terrifying and subtle. It is the willingness to ask the question, who would I be without my pain? If my trauma was just a chapter in my book, and not the title of the whole story, what would the next chapter be about? It is the sacrifice of the familiar identity of the victim in order to step into the vast, unknown, and powerful identity of the survivor who has become a source of light. We must sacrifice our need for approval. We must offer up the exhausting, endless quest to be liked, to be understood, to be validated by everyone we meet. This need forces us to wear masks, to silence our truth, to become chameleons. It is a cage built with the bars of other people's opinions. To sacrifice it is to find the courage to approve of yourself, to validate yourself, to be your own anchor in the world. It is to accept that some people will not like you, and to realize that this is not only okay, but it is a sign that you are living authentically. The mechanism of this sacrifice is not struggle or force. It is surrender. It is the same sacred surrender the caterpillar makes when it weaves its chrysalis. To become the butterfly, the caterpillar's form must literally dissolve. It must sacrifice its very identity as a caterpillar. From the outside, it might look like death, but from the inside, it is a glorious metamorphosis. You do not fight your ego into submission. You simply withdraw your attention and your belief from its stories. When the familiar thought of a grievance arises, you see it, you acknowledge it, and you gently return your focus to the golden sun in your heart. You let the old story starve from a lack of attention. You let the excess stone fall away, not by smashing it with rage, but by lovingly tapping it until it releases its hold. You do this because you love the angel in the marble more than you love the familiar shape of the stone. This is not a sacrifice born of duty or fear. It is a sacrifice born of love. You let go of your anger because you love peace more. You let go of your victimhood because you love your own power more. You let go of your need for approval because you love your own freedom more. Each act of letting go creates a space within you. And this space is not an empty void. It is immediately filled with the light and warmth of Sephirot. It is filled with the very quality you were seeking. You let go of a handful of gravel, and the universe fills your open hands with gold. This is the beauty of Sephirot. This is its profound secret. It is the center of the tree because it is the point of alchemy. It is where the lead of the ego's suffering is turned into the gold of the soul's liberation. It is the sacred altar where we offer up all that is false within us, and in return, we are filled with the truth of who we are, beautiful, balanced, whole, and free. As we stand in this integrated light of our own heart, this central sun of Sephirot, we become aware of two great universal forces that flow into it from the realms above. These are the primary powers of creation, the two hands of the divine, so to speak. On one side, we feel a contracting, discerning, structuring force that gives form and sets boundaries. On the other, we feel an expanding, unconditional, loving force that pours forth without limit. These are the energies of severity and of mercy. To remain in balance, the heart must learn to receive and harmonize these two mighty rivers of energy. We now turn our gaze upward to explore the very nature of divine judgment and divine grace, beginning with the formidable, structuring power of Kether. From the radiant, balanced, and compassionate center of Sephirot, our gaze now turns upward, toward the higher realms of consciousness from which the heart draws its power. We perceive two great rivers of energy flowing down into the central sun, two primary forces that, in their union, create all of reality. On one side is the boundless, expansive, unconditional outpouring of love. On the other is the contracting, focusing, and defining power of strength and discernment. Our culture has taught us to adore the river of love and to fear the river of strength. We call one mercy and the other judgment, and we have been taught to seek the former and flee from the latter. This is a profound and crippling misunderstanding, for a life without the influence of both these forces is a life impossibly out of balance. To continue our ascent, we must now have the courage to turn to the left, to face the pillar of severity, and to understand the formidable, necessary, and ultimately loving power of the sphere called Gevura. The name Gevura is often translated as severity, judgment, or even fear. These words alone can send a chill through the soul, evoking images of a wrathful, punishing God, of harsh criticism, of rigid and unloving condemnation. Let us, for now, set these translations aside and use others: strength, discipline, discernment. For this is the true nature of Gevura. It is the force that creates form, that sets boundaries, that distinguishes one thing from another. Imagine a universe of pure, unconditional, expansive love with no Gevura to give it shape. It would be a featureless, undifferentiated fog of light, a beautiful but meaningless chaos. It is the contracting, defining power of Gevura that creates the banks for the river, allowing it to flow with purpose. It is the power that draws the line around a circle, giving it a sacred, protected space. It is the power that says, this is this, and that is that. Without this power, nothing could exist. Now, bring this down into your own life. What does a life devoid of Gevura look like? It is a life without boundaries. It is the life of the chronic people-pleaser, whose yes is given to everyone and everything, and therefore has no real value. It is a life where your time, your energy, and your attention are constantly drained by the demands and dramas of others, because you lack the strength to draw a line and protect your own resources. It is the life of a sponge, absorbing all the toxic emotions of those around you, with no shield to keep them out. It is a life of endless distraction and procrastination, because you lack the discipline to cut away the non-essential and focus on what truly matters. A life without the strength of Gevura is a life of quiet burnout, simmering resentment, and a tragic sense of being a shapeless puddle rather than a deep, clear lake. The healing of your life requires you to reclaim this sacred power. And this begins by redefining what it means. The judgment of Gevura is not the petty, egoic judgmentality of gossip and criticism. Divine judgment is the faculty of radical discernment. It is the ability to see things with absolute, unclouded clarity. It is the power to assess a situation and discern what is true, what is false, what is healthy, what is toxic, what is aligned with your soul's purpose, and what is a distraction. It is the ability to look at a relationship and say, this nourishes me, or this depletes me. It is the ability to look at an opportunity and say, this is mine to do, or this is not my path. It is not about condemning others, it is about having the clarity to make wise choices for yourself. To embody Gevura is to forge the sword of the spiritual warrior. This is not a sword of aggression, to be used to attack or dominate others. It is the sword of a guardian, a protector of a sacred space, and that sacred space is your own soul, your own inner temple. This sword is forged in the fires of your passion, your netzach. It is hammered into shape by your discipline and your will. It is quenched in the cool waters of your wisdom. And what does this sword do? It cuts. It performs the sacred act of separation. It cuts the energetic cords that bind you to toxic people and situations. It cuts through the fog of your own illusions and self-deceptions. It cuts through the jungle of your excuses and your procrastination. It is the sharp edge of your focus, cutting away all that would distract you from your path. Most importantly, it is the power that allows you to speak the word no. Every no you speak to that which drains or demeans you is a powerful yes to your own soul, your own integrity, your own life. We are terrified of this power. We have been taught that setting boundaries is selfish, that saying no is mean, that being discerning is judgmental. These are lies that keep us small, weak, and compliant. A clear, honest, no, spoken without anger, is an act of profound kindness. It is kind to yourself because it honors your own limits and energy. And it is kind to the other person because it is honest. It lets them know exactly where they stand, preventing the slow, poisonous buildup of resentment that is the true destroyer of relationships. A resentful yes is a lie. A clean no is a form of truth. It takes immense strength and love to wield this truth, and that is the strength of Gevura. This sphere is also called pachad, which means fear or awe. This is not the cowering, anxious fear of the ego. This is the awe you feel in the presence of an immense and immutable power. It is the feeling of standing on a mountaintop and comprehending your own smallness in the face of vastness. It is the respect you feel for the law of gravity as you stand at the edge of a cliff. Gevura is the acknowledgement of cosmic law. It is the understanding that actions have consequences. That cause has an effect. This is not a threat, but a gift. It returns to you the power of responsibility. It reminds you that your choices create your reality, and so it inspires within you a profound sense of self-discipline, a desire to align your actions with the outcomes you truly desire. It is the awe that inspires focus, the respect for reality that inspires integrity. This powerful force of contraction, of definition, of strength, is meant to work in perfect harmony with its opposite, the sphere of Hesed, or mercy, which we will visit next. Gevura, without the expansive love of Hesed, becomes cold, cruel, and rigid. It is a fortress with no one inside. But Hesed, without the discerning boundaries of Gevura, becomes a flood of sentimentality that enables destructive behavior and has no container to hold its power. The balanced heart, the heart of Sephirot, is constantly nourished by both. It has the courage to draw a line and the love to know why it is drawing it. It has the strength to be a warrior and the compassion to be a healer. We have now seen the nature of this formidable power. We have understood the necessity of discipline, of discernment, of boundaries. We have seen the forged sword of the guardian, not as a weapon of cruelty, but as a tool of loving protection and radical clarity. But to understand a tool and to know how to wield it in the heat of life are two very different things. How do we, in our daily lives, pick up this sword when our hands are trembling? How do we find the courage to draw a line when we fear abandonment? How do we summon the strength to speak the most difficult and ultimately the most liberating word in any language? We must now learn the sacred and practical magic of wielding the power of Gevura. We must learn the art of the powerful, loving, and definitive no. You have stood in the presence of Gevura. You have felt its formidable strength and acknowledged its purpose as the divine power of discipline and discernment. You hold in your mind the image of the forged sword of the spiritual guardian. But an intellectual understanding of a sword is a useless thing in a real battle. A sword hanging on a wall is a mere decoration. Its true splendor is only revealed in the wielding. The edge of this sword, the part that does the sacred work of cutting, is a word. It is a word so small, yet so potent, that entire lives are shaped by the ability or inability to speak it. This word is number. For many of us, this word is trapped in our throats, caught behind a wall of fear. Fear of conflict, fear of disappointing others, fear of being seen as selfish, fear of being abandoned. We have come to believe that our goodness, our lovability, is measured by our constant, unwavering yes. And so we say yes when our bodies are screaming no. We say yes when our hearts are breaking. We say yes when our energy is already overdrawn. And this constant, resentful yes is a betrayal of the soul. It is the slow death of 1,000 compromises. The practice of Gevura, the healing it offers, is to reclaim the power and the purity of a clean, honest, and sacred no. Let us first honor the fear. Your fear of saying no is not irrational. It is an ancient survival mechanism. As a child, your survival literally depended on the approval and care of the adults around you. Saying no to them could have meant the withdrawal of love, of safety, of food. It was dangerous. And for our distant ancestors, being cast out of the tribe for being uncooperative was a death sentence. So your body, your nervous system, holds a deep, primal memory that no equals danger. We must approach this work with compassion for that terrified part of ourselves, even as we teach it that the old danger is no longer real. You are no longer a helpless child. You are the sovereign of your own kingdom, and the well-being of that kingdom now depends on your ability to guard its gates. The most helpful way to reframe this is to think of yourself as a gardener. Your life, your time, your energy, your attention, your pieces, a beautiful, sacred garden. In this garden, you wish to grow magnificent flowers. The flower of a loving relationship, the flower of a meaningful project, the flower of vibrant health, the flower of a deep spiritual practice. But every garden is also beset by weeds. The weeds are the endless, unimportant demands on your time. They are the draining conversations, the obligations you agreed to out of guilt, the requests from people who do not respect your energy. Now, what does a good gardener do? They do not hate the weeds. They do not get angry at them. They simply understand, with the calm clarity of Gevura, that if the weeds are allowed to grow unchecked, they will steal the water, the sunlight, and the nutrients from the flowers. The flowers will wither and die. And so the gardener, out of profound love for the flowers, kneels down and pulls the weeds. This act of weeding, of saying no, is not an act of aggression. It is an act of fierce, focused love for that which you wish to cultivate. Every time you say no to a weed, you are saying a resounding yes to your flowers. Before you can speak this word to others, you must first feel its power within yourself. This is the inner work. I invite you to try this now. Bring to mind a situation in your life, a recurring request or an obligation that feels heavy and draining. Something you have been saying a resentful yes to. Close your eyes and first, imagine yourself saying yes yet again. Feel the familiar energetic signature of this self-betrayal. Feel the sinking in your stomach, the tightening in your chest, the subtle sigh of resignation. This is the feeling of your life force leaking away. Now, reset. Take a deep breath. In your mind's eye, see the person or the situation before you. Let your spine straighten. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Feel the strength in your own center. And silently, but with the full force of your conviction, say the word number. Do not shout it. Just state it, with the calm, unshakable finality of a mountain. Feel the energetic shift in your body. Feel the energy that was leaking out suddenly return to you. Feel the sense of solidity, of clarity, of self-respect. It is the feeling of a gate closing, of a boundary being honored. It is the feeling of coming home to yourself. This feeling is the signature of Gevura in action. Practice this internal no often. Savor the feeling of integrity it brings. It is your training ground. By generating the feeling state of a clean no on the inside, you are building the energetic muscle to eventually speak it on the outside. When you are ready to speak, remember that no can wear many different outfits. It does not always have to be a two-letter word. Your inner state can be a firm, unwavering no, while your outer language can be gentle and graceful. There is the no of loving honesty. Thank you for this opportunity, but it's not in alignment with my goals right now. There is the no of self-care. I would love to help, but I am at my limit, and I need to protect my energy. There is the no of prior commitment, with your own well-being being the commitment. I have a commitment to myself to keep my evenings free for rest. There is the no that buys you time to consult your inner counsel. Let me think about that and I will get back to you. This prevents you from being ambushed into a resentful yes. The form of the words is secondary to the clarity of your inner energy. When you are rooted in a place of calm self-respect, your no will be felt as a clean and honest truth, not as a personal rejection. The great, magical paradox of this practice is that by learning to say no, your yes becomes infinitely more powerful. When you are a person who says yes to everything, your yes is meaningless. It is devalued currency. But when you are a person who wields a discerning no, your rare and precious yes becomes a sacred gift. It is a full-bodied, wholehearted, enthusiastic commitment. People learn to trust your word. They know your yes is real. You become a person of profound integrity. You teach the world how to treat you by honoring your own boundaries. You stop being a victim of circumstance, and you become the conscious creator of your life's garden. This is the practical application of Gevurah. It is the sword of discernment used to carve out a life of purpose and peace. It is the strength to protect what is sacred. It is the discipline to honor your own soul above the opinions of others. It is the loving, sovereign power that gives your life form, focus, and integrity. Having learned to draw the sacred circle and protect our space with the sword of discernment, having felt the strength and integrity that comes from a clear and powerful no, we must now be careful that our well-tended garden does not become a prison. We must not become so focused on protection that we forget to live. A garden with a strong fence is safe, but it still needs the rain and the sunlight from outside to grow. Having mastered the art of divine contraction, we must now learn the art of divine expansion. Let us now, with a deep breath of relief, put down the sword. Let us open the gate we have just secured. Let us turn our attention to the other side of the tree, to the great expansive pillar of mercy. It is time to prepare our hearts to receive the boundless, unconditional, and life-giving river of divine grace. We go now to Hesed. Take a deep breath, a long, slow, and full exhalation. Let the strength of your shoulders soften. Let the sharp focus of your mind dissolve. You have been standing guard at the gates of your kingdom, wielding the sword of discernment, practicing the sacred and difficult art of no. You have felt the integrity and the strength that comes from this discipline, the power of Gevurah. And now, the work of the guardian is done for a moment. It is time to open the gates. It is time to put down the sword, to unburden your hands, and to turn your face toward the other great river of life. We cross the tree now, from the pillar of severity to the pillar of mercy. We move from the force of divine contraction to the force of divine expansion. We come to the sphere known as Hesed. The word Hesed translates as mercy, but it is so much more. It is loving kindness, it is generosity, it is boundless compassion, it is grace, it is the fundamental, joyful, and unwavering yes of the universe to your existence. For most of your life, you have lived under the stern rule of a deficient chesed. You have lived in a world, both internal and external, that taught you the iron law of conditionality. Love is something you must earn by being good, by being pleasing, by being successful. Abundance is something you must deserve through hard work, struggle, and sacrifice. Rest and joy are rewards. You are granted only after you have completed an endless list of tasks. At the core of this worldview is a painful and pervasive lie, the lie of scarcity, the belief that there is not enough to go around. Not enough love, not enough money, not enough time, not enough opportunity. And so you must fight and strive and compete and prove and justify your existence at every turn. Your inner world is governed by a relentless inner critic, a voice of Gevurah untempered by mercy, that keeps a running tally of all your failures and shortcomings, constantly reminding you that you have not yet done enough to be worthy of the good things in life. This is a cold and exhausting way to live. It is the life of an orphan, believing they must earn their keep, when all along they have been the child of a loving and infinitely wealthy king. Hesed asks you to entertain a radically different possibility. It asks you to imagine that the universe is not a withholding and critical parent, but an infinitely generous and loving one. It asks you to imagine that grace, not karma, is the fundamental law of existence. Karma, the law of cause and effect, is real, but it belongs to the world of form and structure, the world of Gevurah. Grace is the higher law. It is the law of unearned, unconditional, and inexplicable goodness. It is the force of pure, boundless giving. Imagine Hesed as a great cosmic river, flowing from an infinite and inexhaustible source. This river flows everywhere, all the time. It does not ask if the ground it touches is worthy of water. It gives itself freely to the towering oak and the humble weed, to the fertile valley and the barren rock. It pours itself out endlessly, not because anything has earned it, but because its very nature is to flow, to give, to expand, and to nourish. This river is flowing toward you, right now. It has always been flowing toward you. This is the nature of divine love. It is not a response to your goodness. It is not a reward for your achievements. It is a constant, steady, and unconditional outpouring that exists prior to any action you could ever take. Think of the sun. The sun does not shine on you because you had a productive day. It does not withhold its warmth because you made a mistake. It shines simply because it is the sun, and its nature is to shine. Chesed is the sun of the spiritual world. It is the aspect of God, of Source, that is pure, benevolent generosity. It is the king who throws a feast, not to celebrate a victory, but simply to delight in the joy of his subjects. It is the love that has no because. It is love for the sake of love itself. You have had glimpses of this grace in your own life, though you may not have named it as such. It was the unexpected kindness of a stranger on a day you felt invisible. It was the sudden solution to a problem that appeared in your mind from nowhere, after you had struggled with it for weeks. It was a moment of overwhelming beauty in natura, sunset, a forest, the ocean that filled your heart with a joy so profound it brought you to tears. It was the unconditional, uncritical love you felt from a beloved pet. It was a moment of forgiveness, either that you gave to another when they did not deserve it, or that you received when you knew you had not earned it. These are not random accidents. These are moments when the veil thins and you feel the direct touch of the boundless river of Hesed. They are reminders that another, more generous reality is operating alongside our world of effort and consequence. One of the most powerful expressions of Hesed is forgiveness. And the most difficult and necessary act of forgiveness is self-forgiveness. Your inner critic, that voice of unbalanced Gevurah, is a harsh judge. It holds up a record of all your past mistakes, your failures, your moments of weakness or cruelty, and it condemns you over and over again. It tells you that because of what you did in the past, you are unworthy of happiness in the present. Chesed is the counter voice. It is the warm, loving presence that looks upon your past self with all its ignorance and pain and feels nothing but compassion. Hesed understands that you were doing the best you could with the awareness you had at the time. It is the voice that says, "You are forgiven, not because you have earned it, but because you are my beloved child, and my love is greater than your mistakes." It is the boundless river that can wash away even the oldest and deepest stains of shame, leaving you clean and new. To allow this self-forgiveness is to open yourself to the healing power of Hesed. The energy of Gevurah, which we have just explored, is about contraction, focus, and saying no. The energy of Hesed is about expansion, generosity, and saying yes. Not the resentful people-pleasing yes, but the deep, joyful, soul-level yes to life itself. It is the willingness to be open, to be vulnerable, to trust in the fundamental goodness of being. It is the courage to believe in abundance in a world that screams of lack. It is the faith that you are supported, that you are guided, and that you are loved beyond all measure. A healthy soul needs both. It needs the strong banks of Gevurah to contain and direct its life, and it needs the flowing water of Hesed to nourish it. Without Gevurah, Chesed becomes a destructive flood, enabling, sentimental, and foolish. Without Chesed, Gevurah becomes a dry, empty riverbed, rigid, cruel, and lifeless. The goal is a mighty river, held within strong banks, flowing powerfully and purposefully toward the great ocean. This boundless river of mercy, this infinite ocean of loving kindness, flows constantly for everyone, without exception. It is not something you have to create or generate. You simply have to become aware of it. It is your birthright as a being in this universe. It is the very fabric of existence, a truth more fundamental than your pain, your fear, and your feelings of unworthiness. It is always here, always available, always flowing. But a river, no matter how mighty, cannot fill a cup that is held upside down. A sun, no matter how brilliant, cannot warm a person who insists on hiding in a dark cave. The greatest challenge for the human soul is not that the universe is ungenerous. The tragedy is that we have forgotten how to receive. We are so conditioned by the law of deserving, so steeped in our own feelings of unworthiness, that we cannot simply open our hands and accept the free and unconditional gifts that are being offered. We see the flow of grace, this river of Hesed, but we stand on the bank, dying of thirst, believing we are not good enough to drink. We must now learn the most vulnerable, the most courageous, and the most essential act of all, the act of pure, unadorned, and unconditional receiving. The great boundless river of Hesed flows. It has always flowed. It is flowing now, at this very moment, a constant and inexhaustible torrent of grace, of love, of abundance, pouring forth from the heart of the universe. It is the cosmic background radiation of pure, unconditional love. We have stood on its banks and acknowledged its existence. And yet, so many of us remain parched, our lives feeling more like arid deserts than lush, watered gardens. Why? If this infinite generosity is our birthright, why do we experience so much lack, so much struggle, so much of a need to strive and prove? The issue has never been with the river. The issue is with the cup we hold out to it. For most of our lives, we have been holding our cup upside down. The healing of Hesed, the key to unlocking its power in your life, is the simple yet profoundly difficult art of turning your cup the right way up. It is the art of learning how to receive. This sounds so simple, yet it is one of a human being's greatest challenges. To truly receive is an act of supreme vulnerability. It requires us to lay down our defenses, to admit we are not entirely self-sufficient, and to open ourselves to an influence beyond our own control. And the ego, the small self that has run your life for so long, resists this at every turn. It resists because its very identity is built on doing, on achieving, on controlling, on earning. To simply be given a gift, without having worked for it, threatens the ego's sense of pride and purpose. It would rather struggle and maintain control than surrender and be nourished. Furthermore, we are blocked from receiving by the deepest wound that most souls carry, the wound of unworthiness. Deep in the subconscious foundation of Yesod, the old program runs relentlessly. I am not good enough. I am not deserving. This belief acts as an energetic force field, a shield of shame that actively repels the grace that is flowing towards you. You may consciously desire love or success, but if your subconscious energy is vibrating with the frequency of unworthiness, you will unknowingly sabotage every good thing that comes your way. You will deflect compliments. You will mistrust kindness. You will squander opportunities. You will find a way to prove your own unworthiness true, because it is more comfortable to live in a familiar prison than to step into the terrifying freedom of not knowing who you would be without your pain. You hold your cup upside down because you believe deep down that you do not deserve the rain. And so we must redefine the entire concept of deserving. Let this truth wash over you. Deserving is an irrelevant human invention. It has no meaning in the economy of grace. The sun does not ask if you deserve its light before it shines. The air does not ask if you deserve to breathe before it fills your lungs. The earth did not ask if you deserved a body before it gave you one. These are acts of pure, unconditional grace. You are a child of this universe. Your worthiness is not something you earn through your actions. It is inherent in your existence. Your very breath is proof of your worthiness to receive life. You do not need to become more holy, more perfect, more productive, or more healed to deserve grace. You only need to be what you already are, a being, alive and breathing. The only qualification required to drink from the river of Hesed is to be thirsty. Let us practice the posture of receiving now. Wherever you are, I invite you to uncross your arms and your legs. Let your body be open. And now, turn the palms of your hands upwards, letting them rest gently on your lap. This is a small physical shift, but it sends a powerful signal to your entire nervous system. It is the universal posture of receptivity, of surrender, of peaceful allowance. A clenched fist cannot receive anything. An open hand can. Feel the vulnerability in this posture and breathe into it. Now, close your eyes. Recall the image of the boundless river of Hesed flowing towards you. And as you exhale, I want you to silently whisper a single word in your mind. The word is allow, or perhaps the word receive, or simply yes. With every outbreath, you are letting go of the resistance. You are turning your cup the right way up. You are giving the universe permission to bless you. Inhale peace, exhale and whisper allow. Inhale calm, exhale and whisper receive. Feel the tight grip of control in your soul beginning to loosen. Feel the shield of unworthiness beginning to dissolve. You are not doing anything. You are simply allowing something to be done for you. You are stepping out of the shade and into the sunlight that has been waiting for you all along. To build this muscle of receptivity, you must start small. You must practice receiving in your daily life. The next time someone pays you a compliment, notice the instinct to deflect it, to minimize it, to say, "Oh, it was nothing." Resist that instinct. Take a breath, look them in the eye, and simply say, "Thank you." Feel the warmth of their appreciation land in your heart. You are allowing yourself to receive nourishment. The next time you see something beautiful, a flower, a child's smile, a piece of art, resist the urge to immediately capture it with your phone. Instead, just be with it. Let its beauty enter you through your eyes and fill you. Receive the gift of that moment fully. The next time you have a moment to rest, resist the guilty voice that lists all the things you should be doing. Give yourself the gift of that rest unconditionally. Receive it as a sacred balm. To live in the flow of Hesed is to trust in the fundamental benevolence of life. It is to know in your bones that you are supported. It is to look for evidence of grace instead of constantly scanning for threats. It is a shift from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of sufficiency. There is enough love, there is enough time, there is enough for you. You do not have to fight for your portion. You only have to open your hands. This is not a passive state. It is an active and courageous trust. It is the ultimate letting go, the final surrender of the ego's desperate need to control everything, into the loving arms of a universe that has wanted nothing but your good from the very beginning. By learning to receive, you also become a more powerful giver. For you cannot pour from an empty cup. When you are constantly striving, depleting yourself, and operating from a sense of lack, your giving is tainted with resentment and exhaustion. But when you allow yourself to be constantly filled by the boundless river of grace, your giving becomes a joyful and effortless overflow. You give not to get something in return, but because your cup is so full, it can't help but spill over and nourish everything around you. You become a conduit for Hesed, a channel for the universe's generosity to flow through you and into the world. This is the great healing of Hesed. It is the soothing balm for the wound of unworthiness. It is the gentle rain that brings the desert of your life into bloom. It is the deep, cellular knowing that you are loved, you are supported, and you are worthy, not because of what you do, but simply because of who you are. Having balanced the discerning, structuring strength of Gevura with the boundless, expansive mercy of Hest within the sacred vessel of our own heart, we have reached a new plateau of spiritual maturity. We are no longer dealing merely with our personal psychology, but with the great impersonal cosmic forces themselves. Our journey now calls us to ascend beyond even these mighty principles, to the mysterious realm from which they are born. We are leaving the ethical world and entering the supernal world, the very mind of the divine. We approach the great abyss, the gap between the manifest and the unmanifest, and on the other side, we find the primordial womb of all creation, the dark, silent mystery from which all forms and all ideas first take shape. We go now to the source of all deep understanding. We go to Bina. We stand at a precipice. Below us lies the world we have come to know, the landscape of the personal soul. We have walked the solid earth of our bodies, sailed the subconscious sea, balanced ourselves between the pillars of the mind and the heart, and found our center in the golden sun of our integrated self. We have even touched the great, impersonal forces of severity and mercy that shape our ethical universe. But our journey now calls us to take a leap into a reality of a completely different order. We must cross the great abyss, the conceptual gap that separates the world of the self from the world of pure divinity. We are leaving the realm of psychology and entering the realm of cosmology. We are ascending to the supernal triad, the very mind of God. And the gateway to this transcendent realm, the first sphere we encounter beyond the abyss, is a place of profound silence, of divine darkness, of infinite potential. We have come to the great cosmic womb. We have come to Bina. The name Bina is translated as understanding. But let go of your current definition of this word. This is not the intellectual, analytical understanding of Had, which dissects and categorizes. This is a deeper, darker, more holistic knowing. It is the understanding that arises not from thought, but from silence. It is the wisdom that gestates in darkness. Bina is the primordial feminine principle, the great mother of all form. It is the receptive, nurturing, and structuring aspect of the Godhead, while its partner across the abyss, Chokmah, is the explosive, formless flash of pure inspiration, a bolt of cosmic lightning. Bina is the vast, dark sky that receives that flash. It is the deep, fertile, and silent soil that receives the seed of divine energy, contains it, nurtures it, and gives it its very first primal structure, from which all else will eventually unfold. Our modern world is terrified of everything that Bina represents. We are terrified of darkness, so we flood our nights with artificial light. We are terrified of silence, so we fill every moment with noise, music, and chatter. We are terrified of emptiness, of the void, of not doing, so we pack our schedules with endless activity and distraction. We fear these things because the ego, the small self, fears its own dissolution. The ego thrives on noise, on action, on definition. The silent, undefined receptive darkness of Bina feels like death to it, and in a way, it is. It is the death of the frantic, controlling personality and the entry into a state of profound, trusting surrender to a higher intelligence. To approach Bina is to have the courage to be still, to be quiet, to enter the dark. Imagine the womb. It is a place of perfect darkness, perfect silence, perfect nourishment. An entire, complex being is created within it. Yet this creation is not an act of striving or forceful will. It is an act of unconscious, intelligent, and patient gestation. The womb does not need to be told how to grow a heart or form a spine. It simply allows the divine blueprint to unfold within its protected, receptive space. This is the nature of Bina on a cosmic scale. It is the dark womb of the universe, where all new possibilities, all new ideas, all new creations are held and nurtured in silence before they are ready to be born into the lower worlds of manifestation. It is the ultimate principle of receptivity as the highest form of creative action. Let us consider the name Bina is given on the pillar of severity. It sits at the top of the same pillar as Gevura, the sphere of discipline and boundaries. This seems strange, for a nurturing womb to be a source of severity. But this holds a deep mystical truth. Because Bina is the great mother of form, it is by its very nature the originator of limits. To create a form is to create a boundary. To create a body is to create something that is finite, something that can experience pain, something that will one day die. To create anything manifest is to separate it from the infinite unity of the Godhead. This necessary act of giving form is also the act that introduces the concept of suffering into the universe. And so, Bina is sometimes known as the mother of sorrow. This is not a cruel sorrow. It is the deep, compassionate, and understanding sorrow of a mother who knows that to give her child the gift of a unique life, she must also accept that this life will inevitably contain limitation and pain. It is a love so profound that it is willing to embrace this sorrow for the sake of creation. How do we experience this cosmic principle in our human lives? You experience Bina every time you face a problem that logic cannot solve. Your mind, your Had, may spin in circles, analyzing and worrying, getting you nowhere. The wisdom of Bina is to stop, to let go, to surrender the problem to a higher intelligence, to go for a walk, to take a nap, to enter a state of not knowing. And then, seemingly from nowhere, as you are doing something else entirely, the perfect answer emerges in your mind, whole and complete. That answer was gestating in the dark womb of your deeper consciousness. You had to stop striving in order to allow it to be born. You experience Bina in any creative process. An artist has a flash of inspiration, a seed from Chokmah, but they cannot force the final painting into existence. There is a necessary period of gestation, of letting the idea simmer, of feeling its contours in the dark, of allowing it to take shape internally before it can be expressed externally. To rush this process is to have a miscarriage of an idea. We must all go through our Bina periods. They are the winters of the soul. From the outside, it may look like nothing is happening. We may feel fallow, unproductive, lost, or confused. The world, and our own ego, may tell us we need to get moving and figure things out. But the wisdom of Bina teaches us to honor these times. They are not periods of failure, they are periods of sacred gestation. We are the dark soil, resting, gathering nutrients, and allowing the seeds of our future selves to develop in the hidden depths. To trust this process is an act of profound faith. To connect with Bina is to cultivate a love for silence. It is to consciously create moments in your day where you turn off all the noise and simply sit with the emptiness. At first, it will be uncomfortable. Your mind will race to fill the void. But if you persist, you will begin to discover that this emptiness is not empty. It is full. It is a vibrant, intelligent, and deeply peaceful presence. It is the womb of potential. It is the silence between the notes that makes the music beautiful. It is the space between the words that gives them meaning. By entering the silence, you are entering the very mind of God, the place where all things are born and to which all things return. You are listening to a wisdom that can never be found in a book or a lecture. We have now entered the silent, holy darkness of the great womb. We have acknowledged its formidable power and its absolute necessity for all new creation. But our ego, conditioned for constant action, for quick answers and immediate results, finds this place of quiet waiting and not knowing deeply uncomfortable. It wants to dig up the seed to see if it's growing. It wants to turn on the lights in the womb to see what's happening. How do we learn to trust this dark, silent, and mysterious process? How do we find the faith to wait in the womb of potential, allowing divine intelligence to do its sacred work? We must now learn the art of giving form to the formless, by first learning to surrender to the formless itself. We have surrendered to the sacred feminine darkness. We have learned to trust the patient, gestational power of the great womb of Bina. allowing our potential to take shape in the silent mystery. Having created this receptive emptiness, having made the vessel of our soul ready, we now turn to face the force that will fill it. We look across the highest reaches of the Tree of Life, from the pinnacle of the Pillar of Form to the pinnacle of the Pillar of Force. From the Great Mother, we turn to the Great Father. From the dark womb that receives, we turn to the brilliant spark that ignites. We have come to Chokmah. The word is translated as wisdom, but this is not the wisdom of an old man with a long beard dispensing proverbs. This is not wisdom accumulated from books or from a long life of experience. This is wisdom in its most raw, pure, and untamed form. It is the very first, explosive, singular impulse of creation bursting forth from the infinite unity of the Godhead. If Kether, the sphere above it, is the unmanifest point of pure potential, a zero, then Chokmah is the one. It is the Big Bang. It is the primal, masculine, expansive energy of the universe saying, "Let there be light." It is a bolt of lightning tearing through the dark sky of Bina. It is a flash of pure, undifferentiated, and ecstatic knowing. Think of those moments in your own life that have defied all logic. A sudden, brilliant idea that appears in your mind, fully formed, solving a problem you have agonized over for months. The eureka moment in the bath. The flash of insight that rearranges your entire understanding of a situation in a single second. A jolt of creative inspiration so powerful it feels like it has come through you, not from you. That is Chokmah. It is not a thought process. It is a direct transmission. It is a download from the cosmic mind that bypasses the slow, linear processing of your intellect entirely. Your rational mind, your Had, can spend years collecting data, analyzing facts, and building careful arguments. And then Chokmah can arrive in a single, timeless instant and reveal a truth more profound than all that effort combined. Had learns, Chokmah knows. This is why this sphere is so mysterious and so often misunderstood. We are conditioned to trust only what we can prove, what we can reason out step by step. Chokmah offers no proof. It offers no steps. It offers only the blinding, self-evident certainty of its own light. When you have a true flash of Chokmah wisdom, you do not need to verify it. You know it is true in every cell of your being. It reorganizes your reality. The intellect, your Had, may then spend the next 10 years trying to build a logical framework to explain and justify the truth that Chokmah delivered in a single, timeless flash. This is the great cosmic love story at the peak of creation. Chokmah, the Divine Father, is pure, expansive, untamed energy. He is a seed of fire, a torrent of chaotic, creative force. On his own, he could create nothing of permanence. His energy would flash and then dissipate back into the void. He needs a container. He needs his eternal partner, Bina, the Divine Mother. She is the great, receptive, structuring principle who receives his fiery, chaotic seed. She takes his infinite, formless energy and lovingly wraps it in the very first boundary, the first form. She contains his explosion and begins the slow, patient process of gestating it into a workable plan for creation. He is the flash of inspiration. She is the deep understanding of how that inspiration can become a reality. He is the force. She is the form. All of creation, from the forming of a galaxy to the writing of a poem, is the fruit of this sacred, eternal union, the flash of insight, and the patient gestation that follows. You, too, are a child of this divine parentage. You have the capacity for both within you. You have experienced these flashes of Chokmah, even if you dismiss them as a fluke or a strange daydream. Have you ever just known something was true, without a single piece of evidence to back it up? Have you ever met a person for the first time and had an instantaneous, non-judgmental but deeply certain sense of their soul? Have you ever woken in the middle of the night with the perfect title for a book you haven't even written yet? These are not random neurological events. These are communications from the highest aspect of your own consciousness. These are sparks from the divine fire of Chokmah. The mystic path is one of learning to recognize these moments, to honor them, and to create the conditions in your life that make them more likely to occur. So why do we not experience this ecstatic wisdom all the time? What blocks the lightning from striking? The first and most powerful block is a noisy mind. A mind filled with the constant chatter of analysis, of worry, of planning and rehearsing, is like a city flooded with artificial light. A single, subtle firefly of divine insight cannot possibly be seen in such a glare. Chokmah speaks in flashes, not in arguments. It requires a quiet, dark sky to be perceived. This is why we cultivated the silence of Bina first. It is only by learning to quiet the analytical mind of Had that we can become sensitive enough to perceive the higher wisdom of Chokmah. The second block is the lack of a receptive vessel. If the fiery seed of Chokmah has nowhere to land, it simply vanishes. If you are not in touch with the quiet, dark, fertile, and patient nature of your own inner Bina, an inspired idea may flash into your mind, but you will immediately dismiss it as impractical, foolish, or impossible. Your inner soil is not fertile enough to hold it. You have not yet learned the wisdom of gestation. The partnership is broken. This is why the path up the tree is a balance. We must cultivate the quiet, receptive, feminine qualities of Bina in order to successfully receive and nurture the explosive, active, masculine energy of Chokmah. To connect with Chokmah is to cultivate a radical openness to the irrational, the unexpected, and the inspirational. It is to value intuition as highly as you value intellect. It is to have the courage to act on a hunch, a deep gut feeling that logic cannot support. It is to live in a state of wonder, with a willingness to be surprised by the universe. You cannot force Chokmah to appear. You cannot schedule a moment of divine inspiration for 3 p.m. on Tuesday. The lightning strikes when it will, but you can learn to become a better lightning rod. You can tend to your inner world so that when the flash comes, you are ready to receive its power and light rather than be frightened by it. This pure, unadulterated wisdom, this primordial spark of truth, cannot be grasped or contained by the rational mind. It cannot be studied or memorized. It can only be received. So how do we position ourselves to receive this grace? How do we train ourselves to become a clear channel for divine inspiration? We must learn to empty our own cup of all that we think we know, all our cherished opinions and rigid beliefs, in order to make room for what can only be known through direct revelation. We must unclutter our minds and quiet our souls. We must prepare ourselves to drink directly from the fountain of pure, unconditioned knowing. We have felt the flash of Chokmah, the bolt of pure, untamed wisdom that illuminates the soul. We have acknowledged it as the source of all true inspiration, a direct transmission from the divine that bypasses the rational mind. This raises the most vital of questions. If this brilliant, life-altering wisdom is available, why do we experience it so rarely? If the lightning of revelation is constantly flashing, why is our inner landscape so often dim? The truth is, the lightning is always flashing. The fountain of pure knowing is always flowing. The problem is not with the supply. The problem is with our capacity to receive it. We cannot force the lightning to strike, but we can learn to become a better lightning rod. This is the great, practical work of Chokmah, to consciously prepare the mind to receive that which is beyond the mind. Imagine that your mind is a cup. For most of us, this cup is already full to the brim. It is overflowing with a lifetime of accumulated information. Facts, opinions, beliefs, theories, dogmas, and prejudices. It is filled with what we think we know about ourselves, about others, about the world, about God. When we encounter a new idea, we hold it up against the contents of our already full cup. If it matches what is already there, we accept it. If it does not, we reject it. We spend our lives simply rearranging the old contents of our cup. And when the fresh, living water of Chokmah wisdom tries to pour into us, it finds no room. It simply spills over the side, unnoticed. You cannot fill a cup that is already full. The path to receiving divine wisdom is not through the accumulation of more knowledge. It is through the courageous and deliberate act of emptying your cup. This is one of the most challenging and liberating practices on the spiritual path. It is the conscious cultivation of what the Zen masters call beginner's mind. The mind of the expert is closed. It is full of answers. It is no longer curious. But the mind of the beginner is open, empty, and full of wonder. It is a mind that is ready to be surprised. To cultivate beginner's mind is to let go of your addiction to being right and to fall in love with the process of discovery. It is to approach every person, every situation, and every moment as if you are seeing it for the very first time, without the heavy filter of your past experiences and judgments. Let us practice this now. I invite you to bring to mind something you feel very certain about. It could be a political opinion, a religious belief, a philosophical stance, or a firm judgment about a family member or colleague. Feel the solid, reassuring certainty of this position. It feels strong, like a fortress. Now, with great gentleness, I want you to ask your mind a simple, terrifying question. What if I'm wrong? What if the opposite of what I believe is also, in some context, true? What would the world look like from that other perspective? Feel the immediate resistance from your intellect, your had. Its sense of identity is threatened. But stay with the question. You are not being asked to abandon your belief. You are simply being asked to create a tiny crack in the walls of your certainty. In that crack, a little light can get in. In that space, chokmah can enter. To live in a state of chokmah is to hold your beliefs lightly, to see them as temporary viewpoints, not as absolute truths. The next step in emptying your cup is to befriend 3 of the most powerful words a human being can utter: I don't know. In our culture, we see these words as a sign of weakness or ignorance. In reality, they are a statement of profound wisdom and humility. I don't know is the passcode that opens the door to a higher intelligence. A mind that is full of answers is a closed system, but a mind that is comfortable in the state of not knowing is an open channel. It is ready and waiting for a new revelation. When you are faced with a complex problem, instead of frantically searching for a solution with your rational mind, try relaxing into the state of, I don't know. This is not a passive giving up. It is an active surrendering of the problem to the greater mind of the universe. It is an invocation. You are signaling that your personal cup is empty, and you are ready for the fountain to pour into you. This practice requires you to reevaluate your relationship with your own intellect. For years, your intellect has been the king. Its pride is based on knowing, on solving, on being the smartest one in the room. Now, you are asking it to step down and become a humble gatekeeper, whose main job is to keep the gate open for a wisdom that is infinitely greater than its own. You are asking your had to bow to your chokmah. At first, the intellect will rebel, but over time, it will come to see the beauty in this new arrangement. It will be relieved of the immense pressure of having to have all the answers. It can relax and become a curious explorer of the universe, rather than a rigid defender of a tiny intellectual territory. To drink from the fountain of pure knowing is to live in a state of constant inquiry. It is to fall in love with beautiful questions, rather than clinging to finite answers. It is to walk through the world with an attitude of, I wonder. To look at a tree and wonder what it is like to be a tree, rather than just labeling it oak. To listen to another person with the intent to understand their world, rather than just waiting for your turn to speak. This state of open, curious wonder is the frequency of chokmah. It is the state of a mind that is ready for magic. It is the mind of the poet, the artist, the true scientist, and the mystic. It is the mind that is perpetually open to grace. So your practice is this: empty your cup. Empty it of your certainty. Empty it of your need to be right. Empty it of the belief that your current knowledge is the final word. Make space. Become a vacuum. For nature abhors a vacuum. and the universe will rush to fill any space you create with its own brilliant, life-giving wisdom. Be less of an expert and more of a question mark. Be less of a lecturer and more of a listener. Trust that the greatest truths are not things you can figure out, but things that will be revealed to you in a flash when you have finally made yourself empty enough to receive them. Having learned to empty our cup, having cultivated the silent, receptive womb of Bina, and opened ourselves to the inspirational flash of Chokmah, we have arrived at the pinnacle of duality. We have seen the Great Father and the Great Mother, the force and the form, the spark and the womb, whose cosmic dance creates all that is. But even here, at this dizzying height, there is still a separation. There is still a two-ness. Our journey calls us to the final ascent. Where do even these two great primal forces come from? What is the singular, unified source from which they both arise? We must now take the final step, beyond all duality, beyond the one and the two, into the silent, unmanifest, and incomprehensible reality from which all things are born and to which all things return. We approach the ultimate mystery. We approach the source of all sources. We go now to the crown. We go to Kether. We have arrived at the summit. We have journeyed from the solid ground of the body to the fiery passions of the heart, from the structured palace of the mind to the fertile womb of understanding, from the explosive flash of inspiration to the quiet readiness to receive it. We have balanced the pillars of form and force. We have stood at the pinnacle of duality, at the cosmic dance of the Great Father, Chokmah, and the Great Mother, Bina. And now, we ask the ultimate question: from where do they come? From what singular, unified source does this first great polarity of the universe arise? To answer this, we must take the final step. We must ascend beyond all form, all thought, all duality, all separation. We enter a realm where language falters, and the mind must fall silent. We approach the crown of the tree, the very beginning that was before all beginnings. We have come to Kether. The word Kether is translated as the crown, but do not imagine a crown of gold and jewels that is placed upon a head. Kether is not a thing to be possessed. It is the source from which the very concept of a head, a being, an existence arises. It is the first and ultimate of the 10 Sephirot. It is the singular point from which the entire tree of life, and with it all of manifested and unmanifested reality, emanates. It is the seed that contains the entire forest. It is pure, undifferentiated, unified consciousness. It is the one before the one. To speak of Kether is to speak in paradox, for it is a reality that exists before the separation of things that makes language possible. It is the great emptiness that is also absolute fullness. It is the primordial stillness that is the source of all motion and all energy. It is the profound silence from which all sound and all words are born. It is the absolute nothingness that contains the potential for absolutely everything. The rational mind cannot grasp this. The intellect, Yerhad, which thrives on distinctions and definitions, breaks apart when it tries to contemplate a reality where no distinctions exist. To approach Kether is to surrender the mind itself. It is to go beyond thinking into pure being. Imagine all of creation, every galaxy, every star, every planet, every living being, all of history, all of the future. Imagine all of it collapsing back in on itself. All of time and space, all of energy and matter, all of thought and feeling, retracting, back into a single, dimensionless point of infinite density and infinite potential. That is Kether. Or imagine a source of pure, brilliant, white light, a light so dazzling it has no form. This light contains within it all the colors of the rainbow, all the frequencies of the universe, but they are here in a state of perfect, undifferentiated unity. As this light begins its descent down the tree of life, it is passed through the prisms of the other Sephirot, and it is refracted into the beautiful, diverse spectrum of existence. Chokmah and Bina are the first great refractions, but Kether is the pure, unrefracted, singular light itself. It is the source of all. How can a human being, living in a world of profound multiplicity and separation, ever hope to experience this ultimate unity? You cannot experience it by thinking about it. You cannot experience it by striving for it. You can only experience it by realizing that you have never for a single moment been separate from it. It is your own deepest and most essential nature. The experience of Kether is not one of discovery, but of recognition. It is the recognition of the source of your own awareness. Let us try to touch it now. Become aware of your thoughts as they drift through your mind. Do not follow them. Just watch them, as if they are clouds passing in the sky. Now, bring your awareness to the space between the thoughts. Notice that there is a gap, a brief moment of silence, a pause between one thought ending and the next one beginning. This silent gap, this is a doorway to Kether. For most of us, this gap is infinitesimally small, but it is there. In deep meditation, this gap widens, the silence expands. And in that silence, you can experience a consciousness that is not tied to thought, a pure, contentless awareness. Let us try another way. Ask yourself this question: who is it that is aware? You are aware of the sights and sounds around you. You are aware of the sensations in your body. You are aware of your emotions. You are aware of your thoughts. But who is this you that is aware of all these things? Trace your awareness back to its source. Follow the thread of consciousness inward, past all the objects of its attention. What do you find at the very source of awareness itself? You find a silent, peaceful, ever-present knowing. A simple sense of I am, not I am this or I am that, just I am. This pure, unqualified, self-existing beingness is the reflection of Kether in your own soul. It is the ultimate truth of who you are, beneath the layers of your personality, your history, and your name. In the ancient Kabbalistic texts, the divine name associated with Kether is Ehyeh, Asher Ehyeh, which famously translates as I am that I am. It is a statement of absolute, self-sufficient being. It is the ultimate reality declaring itself. It does not need a cause. It does not need a justification. It simply is. And because you are an emanation of this source, this is your true name as well. To have a mystical experience of Kether is to experience the dissolution of the personal self. It is the moment when the wave realizes it is not separate from the ocean, but is in fact the ocean itself expressing as a wave for a brief time. The sense of being a separate me with a personal history and a future dissolves back into the boundless, timeless ocean of universal consciousness. This is what the mystics of all traditions have pointed to. It is enlightenment, it is samadhi, it is nirvana. It is not an annihilation of the self, as the ego fears. It is the ultimate expansion of the self into everything. It is not a terrifying death. It is the final blissful homecoming. But we are not meant to achieve this state and simply vanish from the world. We are here, in these bodies, in this life, for a reason. The experience of Kether, whether it is a fleeting glimpse or a profound mystical union, is not an escape. It is a recalibration. It is a visit to the source code of reality, a reminder of our true nature, so that we can bring the light and the wisdom of that unity back down into our lives in the world of duality. The journey upward to the crown is now complete. We have touched the silent, singular, and unified source of all that is, but the spiritual journey is a circle. The final, and perhaps the greatest, work of the mystic is not to remain in the formless, unknowable light, but to learn how to bring that light down the tree, to incarnate it, to live from this place of unity in the midst of a world of separation. We must now learn how to wear this invisible crown in our daily lives. We must fully embody the ultimate truth revealed in Kether. We must learn to live the great declaration, I am that I am. We have stood at the summit of all things. We have touched the silent, singular point of Kether, the crown of pure, unified consciousness from which all of reality blossoms. We have felt our own personal awareness dissolve into the boundless ocean of the universal mind. It is a place of indescribable peace, of absolute wholeness, and the temptation is to remain there, to float forever in that formless, blissful light, far from the struggles and sorrows of the world below. But the spiritual journey is not an escape, it is a round trip. The ultimate purpose of ascending the mountain is not to stay at the peak, but to be transformed by the view, and then to carry that transformed vision back down into the valley. The final stage of enlightenment is not transcendence alone. It is incarnation. It is the deliberate act of bringing the infinite light of the crown down into the finite vessel of your own human life. It is the unification of Kether and Malkuth, of the crown and the kingdom. It is learning to live the truth you have just remembered. The ultimate truth, the divine name revealed in the utter stillness of Kether, is Ahia, Asher Ahia. I am that I am. This is not a description. It is a declaration of being. It is the universe stating the fundamental fact of its own self-aware existence. Notice the structure of this phrase. It does not say, I am this or I am that. It does not say, I am good, I am spiritual, I am wise. The moment you add a predicate, a description, you are stepping down from the unity of Kether into the world of duality and definition. You are limiting the limitless. For your entire life, you have defined yourself by what you have attached to the two most powerful words in creation, I am. You have said, I am tired, I am anxious, I am a failure, I am unworthy. And the universe, in its infinite and impartial wisdom, has always said yes, and has organized reality around your declaration. You have been the king of your kingdom, decreeing its laws with your own words, often without realizing the power you were wielding. The ultimate practice, the great secret of living from the crown, is to learn to rest in the pure, unqualified state of I am before you add any other word to it. It is to find your identity not in your personality, your history, your job, or your feelings, but in the simple, silent, background awareness of your own existence. This awareness is your true self. It is the Kether within you. It is the one thing that has been constant throughout your entire life. Your body has changed, your thoughts have changed, your emotions have changed, your circumstances have changed. But the silent, watchful presence that has been aware of all that changed, that has never changed. That is the I am. Let us feel this now. Close your eyes. Take a deep, slow breath. Let go of your name. Let go of your history. Let go of your plans for tomorrow. Let all the stories you tell yourself about who you are dissolve for a moment. And now, in the silence of your mind, begin to gently repeat a simple mantra. On your inhalation, silently think the word I. On your exhalation, silently think the word am. Breathe in I. Breathe out am. Do not force it. Just let the words float gently on the rhythm of your breath. Feel the resonance of this statement in your chest, in your heart center. I am. This is the heartbeat of the universe. It is the most fundamental truth. You exist. You are. As you continue this, you may notice other thoughts trying to attach themselves. I am peaceful. I am distracted. Just let them go. Gently return to the purity of the first two words. I am. Now, after a time, let the words themselves begin to fade, and just rest in the feeling behind the words. Rest in the simple, silent awareness of your own being. It is not a thought, it is not an emotion. It is a quiet, steady, peaceful knowing that you are here. This is the feeling state of Kether. This is your home base. It is the unshakable ground of your true nature. From this place, you can watch the drama of your life unfold without being lost in it. You are the screen, not the movie being projected upon it. To live from this realization is to wear the invisible crown of Kether in your daily life. It is to bring heaven to earth. What does this look like? It means you no longer seek your worth from the outside world. You no longer need praise or fear criticism, because your sense of self is not derived from the opinions of others. Your being is its own justification. It means you begin to see the same I am shining in the eyes of every other person you meet. You recognize that the same divine consciousness that animates you animates them, regardless of their personality or their actions. This is the root of true compassion. You see God in everyone, because you have finally found God in yourself. It means your actions are no longer driven by a frantic need to prove yourself or to get something from the world. Instead, your actions become a natural and joyful expression of the divine being that you are. You create for the joy of creating. You love for the joy of loving. You help for the joy of helping. Your life ceases to be a struggle for survival and becomes a graceful dance of co-creation with the universe. You are no longer a beggar, hoping for scraps of grace. You are a son, a daughter of the King, living in the full knowledge of your inheritance. The journey up the tree was the journey of the wave discovering its true nature as the ocean. The journey back down the tree, the path of incarnation, is the journey of the ocean, learning to delight in its expression as a unique and beautiful wave. You do not lose your personality. You do not become a mindless drone. Your unique personality, your gifts, your quirks, all of it, becomes a beautiful, transparent vessel through which the light of the one I am can shine in a way that has never been seen before. You can play in the world of form, with all its joys and sorrows, without ever again forgetting that your true home is in the formless. The great ascent from the kingdom of Malkuth to the crown of Kether is now complete. You have traveled the pathways of your own soul, and you have arrived at the ultimate source. You have remembered who you truly are. You are not just the limited, mortal being you once believed yourself to be. You are that, but you are also infinitely more. You are the creator and the creation, the dancer and the dance. You are a unique and precious expression of the one divine life that animates all things. You are a child of the cosmos, a living spark of the infinite light. You are a walking, talking embodiment of the great mystery. In the simplest and most profound of terms, you are. And that is everything. The journey of knowing is complete. The journey of being now begins. I am that I am. We have come to the end and to the beginning. The great journey of ascent, from the kingdom of the body to the crown of pure spirit, is complete. We have walked the winding paths of the soul, explored the palaces of the mind, sailed the oceans of the subconscious, and stood at the summit of reality where all things become one. And now, we return. Like a traveler coming home after a long pilgrimage, you arrive back in the familiar landscape of your own life, but you do not see it with the same eyes. The world has not changed, but you have. And that changes everything. You have brought the light from the mountaintop back down into the valley. And now even the stones at your feet have begun to glow. Do not for a moment believe that this tree of life is a diagram in an ancient book or a map to a distant celestial realm. You have not been studying a concept. You have been exploring yourself. This tree is alive. It is breathing within you at this very moment. It is the divine architecture of your own being, the energetic system that translates the infinite light of spirit into the beautiful, tangible reality of your human experience. Feel its presence within you now. Its roots are in the soles of your feet, drawing strength and stability from the good earth of Malkuth, your physical body, anchoring you in the sacred here and now. Its foundation is in the deep, tidal waters of your subconscious, your yesod, where the images and dreams that shape your world reside. Its strong twin trunks rise up as your capacity to feel and to think, the fiery passion of your heart in Netzach, and the crystalline clarity of your mind in Had. At the very center of your being, in your chest, is its radiant heart, the golden sun of Sephirot, where all opposites are reconciled in compassion, where your true, higher self resides in perfect balance. From this heart, you can reach up and touch the great cosmic laws that govern your life. The fierce, protective strength of Gevura, which gives you the power to define yourself, and the boundless, flowing mercy of Hesed, which gives you the grace to expand. And higher still, beyond the reach of your everyday mind, the tree opens into the heavens of your own superconsciousness. Its highest unseen branches drink the light of the supernal realms, the silent, receptive, and fertile darkness of Bina, the great mother who nurtures all new potential, and the brilliant, explosive, masculine flash of Chokmah, the great father who sparks all inspiration. And at the very peak, the ultimate seed from which the entire tree grows, and the invisible crown that rests upon it, is the silent, ever-present, unified point of Kether. It is your own divine source. It is the pure, contentless awareness that is reading these words and feeling these feelings. It is the ultimate truth of your being. It is the I am. The journey up the tree was a journey of remembering. The journey back down is a journey of living. The great secret is that there is no separation between the top and the bottom. The crown and the kingdom are one. Kether is reflected in Malkuth. The most transcendent spiritual reality is not separate from your most mundane physical life. Your body is the temple of the living spirit. Your breath is the whisper of God. Your heartbeat is the drum of the cosmos. The purpose of this entire journey has not been to help you escape your life, but to help you fall so deeply and completely in love with it that you recognize its inherent divinity in every moment. The holy is hidden in the ordinary. As you move forward from this moment, carry this living tree within you. Let it be your guide and your solace. When you feel lost and ungrounded, send your awareness down to your roots in Malkuth. When you feel conflicted and torn, return to the golden sun in your heart, your Sephirot. When you feel overwhelmed by the emotions of the world, remember the sword of Gevura that guards your sacred space. When you feel small and unworthy, remember the boundless river of Hesed that flows for you without condition. When you need inspiration, create the silent, receptive space of Bina and wait for the flash of Chokmah. And in every moment, in every breath, remember the crown of Kether, the silent, peaceful I am. That is your eternal home. To help you integrate this journey, take with you this simple mantra. Let it be a touchstone you can return to throughout your day. Breathe it in and out until it becomes a part of you. When you feel fragmented and are seeking to remember your divine nature, let the mantra be, from kingdom to crown, I am whole. And when you have touched that wholeness and are seeking to live it in the world, let the mantra be, from crown to kingdom, I am home. The guide's voice must now fall silent, so that you may begin to listen to the authority of your own. The journey we have taken together is complete, but your personal journey of living this truth has just begun. There is nothing more you need to learn, and nothing more you need to seek. Everything you have ever looked for is already inside you, perfectly arranged, eternally present, and waiting only for your own quiet attention. You are a living tree of life. You are a bridge between heaven and earth. You are a masterpiece of creation. Walk forward in this knowing. Walk forward in this power. Walk forward in this peace. Be still and know. We have come to the end and to the beginning. The great journey of ascent, from the kingdom of the body to the crown of pure spirit, is complete. We have walked the winding paths of the soul, explored the palaces of the mind, sailed the oceans of the subconscious, and stood at the summit of reality where all things become one. And now we return. Like a traveler coming home after a long pilgrimage, you arrive back in the familiar landscape of your own life, but you do not see it with the same eyes. The world has not changed, but you have. And that changes everything. You have brought the light from the mountaintop back down into the valley, and now even the stones at your feet have begun to glow. Do not for a moment believe that this tree of life is a diagram in an ancient book or a map to a distant celestial realm. You have not been studying a concept. You have been exploring yourself. This tree is alive. It is breathing within you at this very moment. It is the divine architecture of your own being, the energetic system that translates the infinite light of spirit into the beautiful, tangible reality of your human experience. Feel its presence within you now. Its roots are in the soles of your feet, drawing strength and stability from the good earth of Malkuth, your physical body, anchoring you in the sacred here and now. Its foundation is in the deep, tidal waters of your subconscious, your yesod, where the images and dreams that shape your world reside. Its strong twin trunks rise up as your capacity to feel and to think, the fiery passion of your heart in Netzach, and the crystalline clarity of your mind in Had. At the very center of your being, in your chest, is its radiant heart, the golden sun of Sephirot, where all opposites are reconciled in compassion, where your true, higher self resides in perfect balance. From this heart, you can reach up and touch the great cosmic laws that govern your life, the fierce, protective strength of Gevurah, which gives you the power to define yourself, and the boundless, flowing mercy of Hesed, which gives you the grace to expand. And higher still, beyond the reach of your everyday mind, the tree opens into the heavens of your own superconsciousness. Its highest, unseen branches drink the light of the supernal realms, the silent, receptive, and fertile darkness of Binah, the Great Mother, who nurtures all new potential, and the brilliant, explosive, masculine flash of Chokmah, the Great Father who sparks all inspiration. And at the very peak, the ultimate seed from which the entire tree grows, and the invisible crown that rests upon it, is the silent, ever-present, unified point of Kether. It is your own divine source. It is the pure, contentless awareness that is reading these words and feeling these feelings. It is the ultimate truth of your being. It is the I Am. The journey up the tree was a journey of remembering. The journey back down is a journey of living. The great secret is that there is no separation between the top and the bottom. The crown and the kingdom are one. Kether is reflected in Malkuth. The most transcendent, spiritual reality is not separate from your most mundane, physical life. Your body is the temple of the living spirit. Your breath is the whisper of God. Your heartbeat is the drum of the cosmos. The purpose of this entire journey has not been to help you escape your life, but to help you fall so deeply and completely in love with it, that you recognize its inherent divinity in every moment. The holy is hidden in the ordinary. As you move forward from this moment, carry this living tree within you. Let it be your guide and your solace. When you feel lost and ungrounded, send your awareness down to your roots in Malkuth. When you feel conflicted and torn, return to the golden sun in your heart, your Sephirot. When you feel overwhelmed by the emotions of the world, remember the sword of Gevurah that guards your sacred space. When you feel small and unworthy, remember the boundless river of Hesed that flows for you without condition. When you need inspiration, create the silent, receptive space of Binah and wait for the flash of Chokmah. And in every moment, in every breath, remember the crown of Kether, the silent, peaceful I Am that is your eternal home. To help you integrate this journey, take with you this simple mantra. Let it be a touchstone you can return to throughout your day. Breathe it in and out until it becomes a part of you. When you feel fragmented and are seeking to remember your divine nature, let the mantra be, from kingdom to crown, I am whole. And when you have touched that wholeness and are seeking to live it in the world, let the mantra be, from crown to kingdom, I am home. The guide's voice must now fall silent, so that you may begin to listen to the authority of your own. The journey we have taken together is complete, but your personal journey of living this truth has just begun. There is nothing more you need to learn, and nothing more you need to seek. Everything you have ever looked for is already inside you, perfectly arranged, eternally present, and waiting only for your own quiet attention. You are a living tree of life. You are a bridge between heaven and earth. You are a masterpiece of creation. Walk forward in this knowing. Walk forward in this power. Walk forward in this peace. Be still and know.